am recording.
Excellent. We're here. I don't know if you could tell, Joe, but I got your mug. Yeah.
Nice.
I use it all the time. I'm actually like kind of uptight about it in the house when people like leave it outside in the yard, or I'm like, can you not do that? I have two favorite mugs. This is one of them. I respect it. Yeah. And I'm also wearing your bow tie.
Oh, cool. Which one?
I thought that you made this one. This is one of the ones you made.
Oh, the green one. Yeah. That was something I bought from a little old grandma in a flea market. It was a scarf that I turned into a bow tie.
I think you gave it to me when I was living at that director's house.
I think
Since
so.
we can't say names.
Yeah. I think so. I think I gave you a
we went
Muppets
there.
bow tie
I was in
too.
that house once.
Yeah. It was a beautiful house. Only I can destroy living for free in a beautiful house.
You want to hear something about that house? So I'm in the house. I'm staying there, for whatever it was, a week or two. And I had not yet bumped into this director, who we shall not name, but I wanted to, of course.
Of course, yeah.
I admire his work. Yeah, absolutely, right? And it just so happens the only opportunity there was for that was that dinner that you guys had. And on that particular night, I decided to visit another mutual friend of ours who's in a band that did quite well and perhaps ignited a little bit of ego within the heart and soul of this individual. And I sat there on his couch and listened to him roll out stories of how the backstage and the blah, 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 and da-da-da. And it was just so damn boring. I just had no interest in it whatsoever. And at one point, he put on the PlayStation or Xbox or something like that. And then he told me he got up and he blocked the screen when he put his password in. And I was like, I'm going to fucking jack your password, dude. I've known you for like over a decade. And then afterwards, I go back to the house, right? And that's when I heard, oh, guess who was here? We had dinner. It was so nice. And I was like, God damn.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I left there not on the best terms, considering I crashed a motorcycle that did not belong to me.
Mm-hmm.
But since then I got to make amends and stuff, and things are cool, but never gonna be the same. That's okay.
I'm so glad that you're okay, that you're recovered and happy and thriving.
Yeah,
I'm really happy to see it.
Yeah, I guess in the context, maybe we should mention that like this accident put me in a wheelchair, and I was living in a nursing home.
Yeah,
and it was definitely one of the crazier times of my life that I somehow accepted at the time. I was like, well, this is what life is. I'm selling cigarettes in a wheelchair, and just like it was a dark place. They since shut down the hospital that I was at, and it was for people with no green cards, no insurance. So it was sort of it was bleak. I mean, the standards of the medical care in America is already really bad. So imagine for those that they don't really care about. Oh, it was terrible. Yeah. Anyone that came to visit me in that hospital was like, I can't believe that you're here. I was definitely one of the youngest and one of the few females too. So the whole thing was just kind of frightening at the time.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
But also like kind of a good experience. I sort of realized that I could adapt to any situation.
Somehow you came out way stronger, and I mean,
for sure.
I hate to be cliche, everything happens for a reason. Blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know.
Well,
it seems like it's part of your journey somehow.
Yeah, but I still didn't get my shit together for like a couple years after that, to be honest with you. I came out kind of even more like I had no game then all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
New York was like, nah, now I'm going to eat you up. You can't really get away with all this shit anymore.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Hey, for a second, can we just, for the audience, say that we have a special guest today, obviously. We have a third amongst us, It's the Bermuda Triangle up in here. You're going to get lost, and you're going to love it, because we have a special guest. Her name is Melissa Scaduto. You may know her from some very dignified projects like Sextile and currently S.Product. She's taken LA by storm, and we love her very much. We've been near and dear to her for quite some time. I remember meeting Melissa on camera about 15 years ago, maybe even longer.
I think actually longer.
Yeah, right.
But I can't tell time anymore. I don't know how long certain things are. But yeah, I remember you showing me this video, and I had super short hair in it, and I was wearing some shit I would never wear. Am I allowed to curse on this?
Of fucking course you're allowed to curse.
I mean, I was definitely a teenager, so it was really a long time ago. Because I'm 36 now, so
yeah.
Yeah. Dirty 30s, dirty 30s.
Dirty 6.
Dirty 30s. Yeah, Sabrina's wearing that great Nirvana shirt. When I saw that, as someone who, you know, collects this stuff, I was like, I will trade you for that shirt.
No. Never.
Incesticide's just such a ripper. Talk about like youth and times in our lives. Nirvana, super important.
Yeah, I know you share the love for Nirvana too.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, our generation, most people in their mid 30s to like 40s, is just like a game changer because it made subculture available to the masses. And like in Florida at that time, it's not like we're necessarily exposed to everything. And it just changed me so much just at such a young age. It was the first time I heard music that gave me goosebumps or made me relate on like a different level, or it like kind of explained, I mean, not to sound cheesy or cliche, but the way that I felt, which was generally like, you know, pissed off and also wanting to like thrash around. And I don't know, Nirvana spoke to that.
Yeah, the song Teenage Angst is perfect to encapsulate it because I was a teenager when I first got turned on, and it was perfect to kind of channel that energy that you have as a teenager somehow. It just fit perfectly. I think the first album that gave me goosebumps was Disintegration. And it softened me up a little bit, tenderized my meat a little bit, you know? But then Nirvana came along, and I don't know, it gave me the Gatorade kind of supercharge to get my energy out. It was really well timed.
Yeah. Disintegration, I just tried to listen to again. And that Cure record's actually really depressing. It's a great record, but it's very like depressing. There was a meme I saw a long time ago, like, oh no, she's listening to Disintegration again. What's she upset about this time? It's like some goth meme or something like that, but it's true.
Yeah.
I listened to Wish recently though.
That's such a sweet album.
Such a great record. That song Push.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you like want to, you know, to dance and cry at the same time.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah. So how's everyone doing today? And I'm sorry, I'm changing.
Oh, it's all good. It's a hard question to answer because I think today was the day that I got caught up with some recent events out there in the States, and it was really somewhat of a dark, depressing morning for me. I've been shaking it off because I'm excited to talk to you two, but as far as how I'm doing, I'm super pumped to talk to you guys, but the layer behind that is a little bit of confusion, and it's a bit strange, you know, strange days.
Definitely.
But I don't know how deep I would want to get into that, but it obviously there's a need for justice, and there's a need for closure, and it's going to be hard times for a while, I think. It's very saddening and very distressing, and the video itself was heartbreaking, and yeah,
I can't even watch it.
it's hard.
We've just seen so much of that same thing happening for so many years, and it's just so unfortunate that this is just still going on. I don't know how they could change the police force besides like a total reform, or I don't really know what the answer is, but LA is really freaking out. And there's a few protests today, actually, that I have a ton of friends messaging me trying to go to. But I saw some really scary stuff yesterday when I got on the highway. I was just veering onto the highway, and coming up behind me, it almost made me cry because it invoked this just total discomfort of emotion. These three massive black, what looked like a SWAT team, but it said the LAPD on the side. just plowing through the highway because there's protesters blocking the highway at some point on the 101. And it just made me feel sick and like horrible, and just I just can't believe that it's always got to come to something like this. It's funny because we're facing like a pandemic as well, and so many people were against gatherings, and now with this happening, it's amazing how people are just throwing that right out the window in order to protest what's going on. But yeah, Minneapolis is like burning, and that is just, it's so devastating to see as well.
So is Atlanta. They ran into the CNN building and had like a
Wow, I
standoff
didn't even
with police.
know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, New York too. I spoke to Edgar earlier. He sends his love, and he said 5 blocks away they were charging the police station. 12 blocks away, a police car was blown up.
Oh my God, I didn't even know all that. See, I didn't even catch up on the news since I got up because it's like 8:30 here.
It's so much. And I think in every major city in the States.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's 2020. How is this still happening? The difference between what was happening in the past and what's happening now is that we could document these police doing this, but it's just it's crazy to me that no matter what, police always feel like they're beyond the law. They can do whatever they want, and it's because they do get away with it often.
They have a special code, the code of silence, so they don't. No matter what, they'll have each other's backs.
I mean, when I was a kid, my parents used to tell me, if don't go running to the police, don't make trouble near the police, because they have a license to kill. I remember that being repeated to me as a child, and obviously, the message being spoken to, young Black Americans is far different, and far more risk is involved. But I mean, yeah, it's insane. They're above the law. They have a license to kill, get away with it without penalty, and that has to change. You can't just have that ability to kill without any form of repercussion, or it's insane. It's insane that's the theme, that's what people think, is that the police officers are going to kill people, not just help, but kill people. And
yeah,
there's got to be a better way. Like, it's 2020, like you said. Isn't there some sort of technological way to freeze someone with a net, or I don't know, like a foam gun? Or why does it have to be lethal? There's no way to stop people?
It seems like it's an American thing. But with this incident that we have, it's just overuse of force. If someone isn't resisting arrest and there's people filming and also telling you, hey, like, this dude can't breathe. And that's what's so sad, is saying the same thing. I can't breathe. Like, it's just so sad. The Eric Gardner footage, I mean, what happened to him for selling Lucy's? It's just like, I know what happened to George Floyd was that he had a fake $20 bill. I had a fake $100 bill once. You think anyone stopped me for that? Of course not.
And there's not even proof that he even knew that was a counterfeit. There's not even proof that he knew.
And let's be real, if any of us found a counterfeit bill, you would try to pass it off, because it seems like this legitimate money. It's a piece of paper. What is money anyway?
And it doesn't matter what he did or didn't do. No one deserves to die on the street by the hands of the police. That's why we have trials, and we have lawyers and judges, and we have a whole judicial system. We don't just kill people because they're for no reason. That's unacceptable.
Yeah. No matter how you slice it, this whole situation is just like, it's dark. I actually didn't know if you guys even want to talk about this, but it seems weird to gloss over and not mention.
That's the thing. I think it's good that we're, mentioning it and acknowledging it, because it's fresh in all of our minds, and to pretend it's not would be hard, I think. So, I mean, we shouldn't dwell on it, because I think that's the only kind of stream out there right now everyone's turning and talking about. And I don't know, like I said, I spent a very depressing morning with that stream, and I don't know, we need a little bit of positivity too, and it's just such an out of control situation. I mean,
yeah, I mean, at least this brings attention to problems that we continuously have. It seems like, I honestly, when I watched it, some of the cops are backing down in Minneapolis, where, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw what the mayor of Minneapolis said, but he's all for justice.
Mm-hmm.
And basically was saying in so many words that he totally understands this unrest and what's going down. There was even a business owner who was like, it's okay, let my business burn.
Oh
There's
yeah,
no
I saw that.
justice, which I was really surprised to see. I mean, it's very selfless.
I mean, I heard Trevor Noah speak on it, and I thought he did a really nice job describing it with the idea of dominoes and how there have been these dominoes, and it's just hard to imagine how all of these events are connected, but they are connected, and it builds up in you. And this was the one that just kind of spilled over. And in terms of anybody looking at the looting and being angry at the images of the looters, I liked what he said. He said, the black community is being looted every day. They're being looted of their spirit, of their dignity, and it's a social contract that we all have here in society, that we agree to follow certain behaviors and norms and laws and so forth. But when you're in a community and you're acknowledging or you're witnessing that social contract's broken every single day on you, then you lose it. And looting or setting fires is the simple, it's the simple fact that there's no social contract.
Yeah, I mean they've tried. People have been kneeling, one kneel. People have been protesting peacefully for Black Lives Matter. We've been protesting since the 60s. People have been protesting since the 60s, and it hasn't changed. It's still the same. So
it's just now we could document it, which really shows. Then that's when the world reacts. I wanted to say one thing about the looting, because they did prove that the guy who actually started the looting in Minneapolis at the AutoZone was an undercover cop. And that's the same thing that's happened in Ferguson and just all over constantly.
All over the world.
Oh, wow.
All over the world. It's disgusting. It's that way. When a police officer or anyone starts the looting or the vandalism or whatever, it's literally so they can change the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's then the focus for most people who sit back and are white and comfortable and don't feel like they want to choose a side or be a part of this. Then they start to focus on, well, they're vandalizing and looting, and then the message is not seen.
I saw one protester. He shot a video of how there's a high pallet of bricks that was dropped off right in front of the courthouse. And he's on video saying, these bricks, where are they supposed to go? Where's the construction site? There's no construction site anywhere to be found. Why are these bricks here? Who put them here? And it's some dirty tactics, I suppose, right? Agent provocateurs. And it's so distressing. It's so disgusting. It's so hard. I mean, my heart goes out to everyone out there, and I hope everyone stays as safe as they can. And it's terrible.
I mean, through the history of time, there's different places like Haiti that overthrow their government. And I mean, Haiti was literally a nation of slaves, and they overthrew the slaves and they killed all the slave masters and became what they are now. Cuba's overthrown their government 3 times. Like, possibility of, of change is possible. In other words,
I think there's a lot of good people out there. I just think they got to get, the fire under their ass. For me, I always think the good outweighs the bad. It's just that the bad are so damn on the spot Johnny and working overtime, and the good people right now have a chance because a lot of people are out of work. It's the lockdown, and get on the phone, get on the horn, send emails, send letters, and get to that critical mass. And I think change is going to come out of this. I think there's going to be some new regulations in place where it's a mandatory trial for these types of incidents. It's insane that anyone
always
walks.
Be investigated when someone dies, no matter what.
Like an independent investigation, not an internal one, but an external investigation. Right. There needs to be a panel or something.
I would think that when a police officer kills anyone, they should be apprehended prior to them deciding what happened.
Yeah, so they can't talk to others. Just isolate that person. Blam. Wait for the process to start.
If they knew that came with every time they shot their gun off at somebody, I think they would wait. Yeah. Or when they acted overly aggressive, or literally cut off the air of somebody. I just, these cops are doing this because they think they can. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I think the other thing too is that because it's a nationwide protest / riot, that a lot of good police officers right now are also like, they've fucking had it, and they're going to start narking on these bad seeds, I think, because they're, I mean, if you're a good police officer right now, it must be really fucking hard, because the whole country is burning, and it's because of your brethren or your associate, your colleague. Like, you're in that club. Your club sparked the flame that's burning the whole damn country, in a sense, and making everyone so desperate. It's like a boiling point. I think it's going to tip over. There'll be, like, I think, regulation that's introduced, new laws, but also I think people are going to stiffen up and just be like, Serpico style, like, let's get these fuckers out of here.
I hope so. I really hope that there's good cops. It's just hard to believe that anyone that even wants that position
it's hard to believe. I would never want it.
I know of one person who's a good person that I know, a friend. Well, we don't have to say names.
I forgot.
No names.
I forgot he was a police officer.
Yeah. Which is so crazy, because he's, a punk rock kid. So I would assume that means he's still a good cop, but I don't know.
I would assume he was pretty straight. I mean, I can't imagine him turning, not him.
Yeah.
That's hard to imagine. I mean, he was pretty much the most straight-laced, well-informed, respectable guy out of all of us, probably. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he seems like the real deal. Like, he joined the force to make life better for the community, or you know what I mean? Like, he's legit.
I hope so. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, there's good ones out there, It's just that, like everything else, the media focuses on the worst shit, and they have to be held accountable too. They have to have some balance. It can't just be nonstop horrific horror tragedies all day. It's insane.
Yeah.
There's good stuff that's happening too. There's good people. And it's like another person I heard. They said, why is it? Why? What about black on black crime? Don't they care about what's happening within their own communities? And the guy was saying, if you were to ever step foot in one of those communities, you would know they care a whole hell of a lot. And that rings so true to me. Like, it's just the bad fucking seeds that get media blasted in everyone's face all day. But in those communities, along with a lot of even developing countries, there's such pure people, good, super heart, Yeah. And I hate that it just gets wrangled like that, and people have this perception, It's so tragic, and the media should be held responsible for that perception,
I just want to say I believe black on black crime happens, though, because the black community is not offered as many opportunities as us. If you are put in a position where you don't make nearly as much money or this and that, and it's easy then to do crimes against each other because everyone's fighting for that last piece of bread.
And there's not too many role models. A lot of the the older generation, the fathers are incarcerated.
Yeah.
And a lot of them for non-violent bullshit crimes, because they don't have the money to have a lawyer. So the parents taken out of the home, the family's broken up, and, you get into trouble usually, whether you're white or black, if your father's in jail. I mean, it's a big problem. It's a huge problem. And, there's a lot of work to be done, I don't know. Fight the power. My heart goes out, It's rough stuff. But I don't know. We don't often have Melissa Scaduto on our podcast.
It's
true. I was going to do that. Hey now, the Howard Stern.
Hey now.
You know,
Hey now.
I can't even really do it because he drops his voice really low. Like, hey now.
I have your poster up of Cruel World.
Was there a poster?
You're supposed to play an epic show, and through no fault of your own, due to the coronavirus outbreak here in the world, it got canceled.
Yeah, but, and then it got rescheduled for September 12th.
And then
but then they just canceled it last week with no new date. I actually got a lot of flack from fans for agreeing to do that because a lot of people think Golden Voice is evil.
Really?
The promoters of that festival who also do Coachella. And I looked into it and they sure are. Most people who have anything to do with money, though, are. I actually asked Penny Rambeau from Crass some time ago. I told Joe this when we were on the phone concerning when we were selling a song to a TV show, if it was considered selling out in any way. And he said, as long as no one's asking you to change your art, it's not. And it's okay to get paid for the things that you're creating. And I feel that way about this Golden Voice thing as well. I worked really hard on that band. And as an artist, we all know you usually don't get paid to do what you want to do. And so I don't know. I was really proud of myself for even being able to be on a bill with bands like that.
Yeah, for sure.
God. The lineup is insane on that bill. Wow, everyone out there, look at Cruel World. Look at the lineup.
Yeah, Morrissey, Bauhaus, Blondie, Devo, Echo and the Bunnymen, the Psychedelic Furs, Violent Femmes, The Church, English Beat, Public Image Ltd, Gary Newman, Mark Almond, She Wants Revenge, Black Audio, TRST.
Oh, that's his band
Cold
Trust.
Cave. I don't know them.
Cold Cave? Yeah,
Cold
I know them. They're a modern band.
Oh, okay.
There's like 4 modern bands on it.
Berlin, Bad Manners, Missing Persons, London After Midnight, Drab Majesty, 45 Grave, Christian Death, The Meteors, Black Marble, Sextile, KVS. KVS.
Wait, who? KBS?
KVS?
You mean KBB?
KBB.
Yeah, those are another modern band. They're from the UK. They're friends of mine.
Oh, okay, cool.
You guys would like them, actually.
Yeah, that is epic. So epic.
Yeah, a lot of people thought that festival was fake.
I thought it was fake when I first saw it. I was like, no way. Morrissey's headlining with all these other bands that allegedly hate him because he's like a fucking alt-right person now in the media. I was like, that's fake. There's no way,
A lot of people were like, you guys shouldn't be playing this also because of Morrissey.
Really? Because there's so much like shade thrown at Morrissey these days. I thought, how could he possibly? And there's no way this would work, this constellation. But lo and behold.
I heard that actually his slot was because they were possibly trying to get the Smiths back together.
Wow.
And it was another failed Smiths reunion, which is why he was the headliner.
Oh my God. That would
I know. I don't know if you guys have checked out Johnny Marr's Instagram in this quarantine, but even just talking about it gives me goosebumps because I think Johnny Marr is so cool. He's definitely proven to be the best member of the Smiths by far.
What? And, sacrilegious.
Not
Johnny Marr is the best member of the Smiths.
Playing. Yes, 100%. We're talking about Morrissey being an alt-right member saying rude things about trans people, and then you're not going to agree that Johnny Marr would turn out to be the best member of the Smiths with his
Morrissey
beautiful guitar playing and realness that he offers the world. You need to see his Instagram because it's one of the most sincere, genuine, wonderful things, and he's interacting with fans like a real person, not like a diva like Morrissey, who acts like he's larger than life and says rude stuff about Latin people.
He's allowed
to. I mean, look, Morrissey has always been a bit of a narcissist. There's nothing respectable about that.
I think he's allowed. I think he has a card. He's a member because he never seemingly talks or has interest in sex. So I think it's okay to fall in love with yourself if you're not falling in love with others.
I mean, come on.
That's what I'm thinking about you. Did you slip and fall today? That's crazy.
No, it's crazy that you are still on Team Morrissey.
I'll always be on Team Morrissey.
I mean, look, I've switched teams, and I honestly feel that if you should watch Johnny Marr's Instagram, he's literally just, people ask him, can you play, Cemetery Gates? And he just plays it on guitar, and just the guitar alone, it has made me cry and made me realize how much I love the Smiths. Because for a long time, I've had a hard time listening to them. I remember years ago when we still lived together, you were like, yeah, I used to love the Smiths. It's just, I don't want to hear it anymore. I just don't, it's just not where I'm at or whatever. You said so many words that you just weren't vibing with it the way that you used to.
Well, I think that's still somewhat true. I think I occasionally listen to the Smiths, but it somehow holds like a certain time, a certain era, and it doesn't fit all moods for me. I feel like I can listen to Morrissey's solo stuff in a more wider fashion. Like it's more of a one-size-fits-all sort of thing. The Smiths, it has a certain kind of anchor to a certain time in my youth. So I don't know.
I was just singing like the best of the Smiths the other day in the house, really, really loud. And I realized like how dramatic he really is. Like at the time, like we all sang the songs, but it's so dramatic and so sad and so very harsh. It fit for the time. Yeah, it was perfect. But listening to it, if I've never heard that before and I heard it now, I would wonder, like, are they okay? Like, is this, are they really upset in their heart?
It's very sappy music, It's like perfect for that time, I think.
For that time. I don't think you can get away with that anymore. People don't.
No, he doesn't do that at all anymore. Now he's just basically like Dear Abby, and he's just like talking about he's venting in every single one of his tracks, basically. It's a totally different vibe. I love him. Yeah. Johnny Marr. Get the fuck out of here, Johnny Marr. Dude.
A lot of people are going to sorely disagree with you, and you're going to be embarrassed of this statement the more that Morrissey comes out being the trash that he is.
Well, you know what's funny is that I have zero shame, because I know that right now that there's somewhere in a court of law, I don't know what country, what city, but there is someone on trial for having done some sort of terroristic act, and the prosecuting attorney right now is saying, and we found Morrissey albums in his house. Bum, bum, bum. Also, right now, somewhere in the world, there's somebody holding a free hug sign, right? And they're listening to Morrissey, and some guy comes up and just pops him right in the face. So I'm with the minority here. I'm standing my ground, sister. Yeah. So what? I listen to Morrissey albums. Doesn't make me a terrorist.
I mean, I listen to the Smiths.
But you're listening to Johnny Marr.
But I'm not listening to Johnny Marr's solo records. I'm just kind of vibing with Johnny Marr as a person, like who he's become, as opposed to who Morrissey has become. And
that's fair. As a person, that's different. I mean, as an artist, I'm on Morrissey camp all the way. But as a person, maybe Johnny Marr, maybe I would like to have lunch with him before I have lunch with Morrissey. I don't know.
I think we would all probably prefer to have lunch with Johnny Marr if you saw either of them speak about themselves. Yeah, I don't know. I Johnny Marr as a guitar player though is, I mean, he's so influential, and that jangly pop music. obviously the two of them together worked beautifully. I'm not denying and Morrissey's role in the Smiths was really important, but as time has gone on, I have just sort of connected very much with the guitar playing more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know. Even when I read into Morrissey's lyrics, I'm like, this guy's full of it. He talks about people plagiarizing stuff, and he literally plagiarizes throughout all his lyrics. He's, look, I'm just calling it as I see it. It's my personal opinion. A lot of people share it, but you can be on the other side.
I'm always on the other side. I like being on the other side.
All right. This did cross my mind about bringing up the time that you and I saw Morrissey at the Apollo. But I don't think I can bring up what you did there.
I don't know what I did there.
You don't remember?
I'm trying to think right now.
At the merch table?
Oh, how I said hello to everybody over there, and I was like, "You're doing a great job."
Nope. No. Can I just say it? Can you cut this out if this is? I mean, we were young, so I think it's okay. There was a wild line at the merch table, and Joe just decided, well, the boxes are right there. And started pulling out merch and just handing it behind him to the hordes of people. And they were terrible merch. They were like these tank tops with like an automatic weapon. Oh no! It was for the "You Are the Quarry" records, like the mid 2000s. That we went. Yeah, we've definitely known each other for over 15 years because we saw Morrissey in like 2005 together. And by that point, we'd been living together and we already known each other from Florida for years. So I don't even know our timeline.
I think we met in 2001.
I was literally just about to say that 2001 is my thing.
I think it was 2001.
I'm pretty sure I met Joe 2 weeks before I met Sabrina, but I met you guys both separately and became instant buds with both of you. But it was because Sabrina had met you, Joe, that then you and I connected as real friends, because it was like I met you and then you gave me a firework and a compilation you made of Muppet songs.
I give you a firework?
Yeah, you gave me a firework with this compilation of Muppet songs.
Oh,
something to blow up, yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, but it was like I met you and then you gave that to me the following time that I was at the dance club that we met at. And then I met Sabrina at the same dance club. And then I think Sabrina drove us up to Hollywood to become like buds together. I don't know. But I had spent like all night on the beach with you, Sabrina. That's how I think the moment we met, we just spent all night chatting till the sun came up on the beach. Like sober too.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Connection.
Yeah. Do you guys have any memories of this? Because, I've seen you guys talk about on this podcast how you're just like completely, things are evaporating. And I feel exactly the same way. I picture myself as a glass of water and only so much is like staying and it's just all, you know what I mean? Like it just keeps getting poured in. And so certain things catch and certain things don't.
Well, I remember that we would, of course, dance on Friday night, I believe, or Saturday night. And
I
then
think both.
Both, right? Maybe both.
There's like Revolver and then Pop Life.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. I think didn't we dance on Friday night, and then Sabrina would drive the three of us back to my apartment in Hollywood. Everyone would sleep over, and then Saturday night we would have a dance party in the apartment. Most of the time we did that because we were danced out by Saturday. Because I remember always trying to go as hard as possible. And Joe's big thing was always like, I'm older and I'm going to dance longer and better than everybody else. Do you remember that time that you smashed your face trying to do the worm? Oh, God.
Sabrina, you took him to the emergency room?
Oh, my God. I do remember that. I remember, of course, a circle forming around me to watch me dance, of course. And I remember thinking, what am I going to do for them? What am I going to give them tonight? And I thought, I'll drop down and do the worm, even though I had never done it before. I dropped down and I did this like really limp noodle thing. And I thought, oh God, That's not how you do the worm. Let me give it all I got. And I went up and hammer-chinned myself on the cement floor. And I remember feeling it, hurt. And I got up and I was like, oh, yeah, it's okay. And I went into the bathroom and it looked like a little miniature vagina right here. It was like a little mini vagina menstruating.
Oh,
and
no.
I remember just like splashing water on it and dabbing it with those paper towels. And I remember going back out, and I remember, I think Sabrina, she's like, let me see. And go to the hospital. Go to the hospital.
Yeah.
And then I went to the hospital, and I had to tell them what happened, and they laughed at me at the hospital.
Oh, no.
They laughed at me.
Oh, yeah, because it's pretty funny.
Yeah,
But
I guess so.
they probably don't get that great of stories in there that are like happy stories of how you injured yourself. So that one's pretty good. And you were going to recover, so they were like, this is hilarious.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah. Do you still have a scar from it or no?
A teeny tiny one. Teeny tiny. I have another scar over here, but I don't. You remember Dave and Buster's when I stabbed my eye with a butter knife?
Yes, I remember that story.
I used to do this. I used to have a dumb trick where I'd take a coffee creamer, cup it in my hand, and then walk around with a butter knife and say, hey, who wants to see me stab myself in the eye? And then I'd go blurp, and the milk would come out. But this particular time at Dave & Buster's, I called everybody over because it was before we opened. So I had the chefs, I had the wait staff, I had the busboys, the bartenders. I'm like, all right, everybody ready? And I was so energized because I had such a big audience. Usually I would do it at like a Denny's with 2 people. But I had like 20 people. I was like, all right, wham! And I went through the creamer and
my God.
Basically came about 1 millimeter away from blinding myself.
You are so lucky that you didn't blind yourself.
The crazy thing, too, was that nobody knew that it was ever meant to be a joke. Because I did. I go, are you ready? Wham! And then blood started coming out, and I left. And I remember for the accident report, because it was covered by workers' comp, I was rolling silverware, and a knife jumped out at me and cut me in the face. That's what I wrote down. And I remember I got called into the manager's office like 2 days later when I returned back to work. He's like, Joe, what does this mean? The knife jumped out at you and stabbed you in the face. I go, I was rolling silverware, and a knife jumped out and stabbed me in the face. Just like it says. You don't understand that? You don't get it?
Did you still receive workers' comp?
Well, yeah, the medical bills were paid for by Dave & Buster's. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Did you get fired from that job or?
I actually did, but I got rehired because I was finished with my duty one evening, and I was like, all right, everybody later. But this dickhead manager's like, no, you got to marry the ketchup bottles. I said, no, that's not what I'm going to do. That's not my job. He says, you're going to do it, or you're not going to have a job tomorrow. I go, really? I said, how about I give Human Resources a call and tell them how you're sexually harassing the female waitstaff, and we'll see who has a job tomorrow. Come into my office. I go into his office. He goes, Joe, I'm not trying to be a dick, but you got to do it. I said it in front of everyone. I said, well, you are being a dick, and I'm not going to do it. He's like, well, then we'll see what happens. I said, yeah, we'll see what happens. So I wrote a letter to Human Resources, and they replied. They said they were sorry. They're going to investigate him. And after the investigation, he got fired.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Good for you,
And I was
Joe.
I was like a hero, too, because he was sexually harassing those girls.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. And I'm sure back then it was just acceptable. Like,
Pretty
the amount
much.
of jobs I've had that I was sexually harassed by my boss and didn't do anything kind of blows my mind in retrospect.
I was sexually harassed once at a job, too, and the manager got fired for sexually harassing me.
Wow.
You remember that? At Eckerd's? Did I ever tell you about that?
No, I don't think so.
I used to process film at Eckerd's, and you would have like a dark box that you would have your hands in so you can take the 35 millimeter film out of the casing. So when you're doing that, you can't remove your hands. Otherwise, you expose the film. So my hands are in there, and the female manager came by. She opened the register. She pulled out all the money. She fanned it. She's like, came to my face, what will you do for this? What will you do for me? I didn't give a fuck. I thought it was kind of funny. But the next day, I told the person I was working with, oh, yeah, the funny manager is what she did. And I didn't have any inkling or idea what was happening behind the stage, but that person called human resources. And the next thing I know, like a week later, some total square walks in the Eckarts and it's like, is your name Joe Martin? And I said, yeah. It's like, how about I buy you a coffee? How's that sound? I'm with human resources. I'd like to buy you a coffee. I was like, okay. I had no idea what the fuck he was talking about. And I leave with him. He gets me a coffee. We sit on the bench. He's like, so, yeah, I heard that you had an incident with one of the managers. I was like, oh, no. It's nothing. No, it's something. And she got fired, and I felt so bad about it.
Damn.
Nah, don't feel bad.
No?
I mean, I've had my butt straight grabbed, and none of those people got fired, but I didn't do anything about it.
What happened?
I think we were living together, actually. You remember when I worked at that, I don't mind to say it and throw this guy under the bus because he's a scumbag, but Sound Fix, you remember that record store? It was next to that Fix Cafe. It's when I worked there.
I do. Really? There?
Uh-huh. Yep. So the owner of that place was a jerk, but it wasn't actually him. It was this dude that he hired. And the owner watched it and did nothing. Multiple times I would be walking past and the guy would just hit my ass.
Oh my God.
And he'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't help it.
Oh.
I ended up showing up there really late, super hungover. Like I'm talking about like vomiting next day hungover. Really bad. I hated that job anyway. And I was working at Rocks in Your Head as well. So I was like, what do I need 2 record store jobs for? I come in late and I'm visibly sick. And the owner was just like kind of rude to me. And I was like, you know what? I don't really care. I don't really want to even be here. He's like, well, you can leave. And I was like, cool, I'm fucking out. And when I walked out, I threw up outside on Bedford Avenue, right in front. I tried to make it to the trash can that was on that corner. Did not. Vomited. And I still feel great about it. Cause I was like, you know what? I'm glad I vomited right in front of your store. You know, I wasn't even like, I was partially late because I just didn't give a fuck because I was treated like trash there.
Damn, why didn't you tell me that back then?
I literally didn't even think about this stuff being a huge issue. You know what's really screwed up is how I really realized how programmed I was until the Me Too movement, because that's when I took inventory about all the things that has happened to me with even people I'm still friends with. People that thought this and that was okay, that just wasn't. I'm not friends with, because none of these people are my good friends, but people that I've like been okay with or friends on social media that I've never called out for anything. Once the Me Too movement happened, I really realized, wow, there's a lot of screwed up stuff that I've just been like, let slide.
I mean, like the entire 80s is like on the wrong side of history. I mean, every movie, you know what I mean? Every single movie, it's like a panty raid. It's this, it's that. You know, it's like zero respect for any sort of like privacy for women throughout the whole 80s. Like, it's okay to peep at them. It's okay to like drill a hole into the locker room. Like, hey, it's what guys do. You know?
Yeah. Crazy.
Like, it was a totally normal thing. Like, we stole her underwear. All right. Like, it was
so.
Isn't it crazy?
It's
how normal it was
crazy.
back then?
And then that gets instilled in us when we watch that stuff. It's like, well, this is how women are treated.
Yeah.
I remember, I don't want to say names of anybody specific, but I remember at the dance club, someone grabbed my ass there at the dance club. And then he got beat up.
Wow.
The one that we always went to?
Yeah. You guys were there, I think.
I don't remember that, though. Did I know of it at the time?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I mean,
I have some vague memories, but no actual images. But I just feel like I do remember this kind of.
Yeah, he got beat up and apparently he was doing this to a lot of girls at the club. I was like, oh no, like don't beat him up. Like I started to slap him around, and I remember you, Melissa, you were with me too. You're like, what's going on? What's going on? And I was like, oh, this guy like grabbed my ass. My asshole, my ass. It was really gross. You know, and yeah.
Were we friends with this person?
No.
Okay.
I didn't. Nobody knew him. He just, I don't know who he was.
Just some random creep
guy.
I remember walking through New York with you, Melissa, and some guy was like, "Hey, sit on my face." I was like, "God damn! If that's what dudes say to women when there's another dude with the woman, like, what are they saying to women when there's no other person with them?"
Oh yeah.
I mean, this subject's about to get really dark because I have terrible instances of interactions in New York from when I was that age. When I was, under 21 years old, the amount of harassment I was dealing with from men just on the J train, being alone. I don't know if you guys remember this story when I was getting off the Flushing Avenue stop when I lived with Stephanie. Some dude literally grabbed me underneath my skirt, and this whole grab the pussy thing when that was coming up, I was like, that actually happened to me. This dude grabbed me, and I was a virgin at the time. Nobody had ever touched me before, and I felt so violated. And I remember when I stood up to, like, I remember it was when I was walking out the door. So the doors were, I turned around on the platform and was yelling at him, and he stood up in the doorway, huge grin on his face, was so stoked that I was screaming at him, and I spit in his face, and he loved it even more. And I remember wanting to vomit. Like, the whole thing was so disgusting, and it's still like a traumatizing memory for me.
Yeah.
What an evil dude.
So sorry. That's horrible.
It's just it gets even worse in New York. I had a horrible Joe when we lived together. Did I ever tell you about that cab driver
who jerked off
while I was in his car going over the Williamsburg Bridge?
What? No.
I did. I think I did. It was back in the day when I would, right after I broke up with Chris Sane, shortly after the New York City blackout. I was wearing cutoff shorts and cowboy boots, I remember. And I was late to work, per usual, going to Gigantic. And this cab stops, and he goes, "If you get in the front seat, it's a free ride." I should have known from then, but I was late for work, and I go, what are you talking about? No. I got in the back seat, and I was like, "Can you just go?" And right when we got over the bridge, he started to jerk off.
Oh,
I should have
God.
And I was so just putting up with that I actually paid him for the ride, which in retrospect, I wish that I did way more. Like, I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything because I was like, absolutely. It's funny when you digest this stuff later. This is another memory that came up for me during the Me Too thing, where I was like, oh God. I mean, in New York, the amount of abuse I feel that we take as women is just through the roof. I still can't. I mean, since the pandemic happened in LA, I'm on foot now more than I'd ever have been. When I got my first pair of comfort shoes, Nikes, dare I say it, because I feel a little bit embarrassed, and I didn't want to give into that. And but
that's Johnny Marr's influence, by the way.
Absolutely not. Maybe you want to say that because Morrissey's hella out of shape, looking like a half melted candle right now.
You know what's funny is that I saw him 2 months ago, and he, at the end, he likes to take his shirt off.
Yeah, ridiculous.
So before he took his shirt off, there was like a smoke machine that literally made it impossible to see anything. And then you see like the shirt come off, and then he's gone. So he's a little bit aware of what you're talking about. But anyway, sorry, go back to what you're saying.
What's that magician's name? Something Blaine. David Blaine.
David Blaine. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a musician thing. Sorry, a magician thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Doing something like that with the smoke machine.
Okay, but how old is he? If he's in his 60s?
Morrissey? No.
Yeah, I think he's 60.
50s.
No.
I think he's like 59, maybe. That's my guess.
Okay.
Let's look it up.
Fact check. Fake news.
Yeah.
But yeah, what I was going to say, he's 61 years old. But what I was going to say is just that even today, now, and being a grown-ass woman, I can't walk on the street alone without dealing with harassment. It's just, it really sucks. And it's like the fact that some men don't understand why women feel a certain way, or it's like, I'm not asking you for any sort of attention. I don't want it. It's unfortunate to me that sometimes I'll dress really like fun for me, and I feel great. I leave the house and I get harassed immediately, and then I'm like, my whole vibe changes, and I'm like, why am I wearing this? Now I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I don't even want to think about that. It's like, I'm not asking to interact with you, and I hardly call, being catcalled from a car a flattering experience.
Yeah. Do you guys follow Billie Eilish at all?
I don't know.
Yeah. No. She just came out with a song. She just turned like 17 or 18, something like that. and she's a young woman who's a singer, and she just came up with a song uh, saying basically like, you call me a slut regardless of what I wear. She usually wears like baggy shirts and baggy pants, and now people are judging her because she's wanting to dress a little, bit different and maybe like more like a lady. And she's like, it's not my responsibility to monitor what you think of me. It's not my responsibility to change who I am in order to stop you from calling me a slut, because you're going to call me a slut no matter what. It's like the other person's problem, not hers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a problem. I mean, like, it's pretty crazy, how funny sex in general is. It's like the driving force behind so much of what happens on this planet, but most times people aren't talking about it, but it's like in the minds of people all the time, and it's crazy, It's to me it's so funny. I mean, living here in Germany where sex is not really a taboo like it is in the United States. When you go to a sauna or a wellness place, it's a co-ed locker room. You're getting dressed next to people of the opposite sex and blah, blah, blah. And then nobody's batting an eyelash at it, So I guess there's different societal ways to handle that issue. And seemingly they do a better job of it in Europe than they do in the United States.
Oh, yeah. Europe is way advanced. We're like living we're living in the, I don't know what time period in the past.
In America, it's almost like dudes that are free walking the streets have the mentality as if they were in prison for the last 30 years. Like they can't, I can't handle it. My sexual drive, This is so weird, but it's the taboo thing, I guess. It's that weird thing that's in the United States. It's like that powder keg thing where it's just like this. Like all those, what is it called? Those dudes, those incels, involuntary celibates.
Oh yeah.
My friend just did a
That's
documentary.
an American thing.
Yeah, my friend just did a documentary on some men like that. They're not self-identified incels, but it's kind of the idea behind what the incel is, which is usually like people that live with their parents, older white males, feel misunderstood and connected to the internet, really, like Reddit accounts and whatever. It's pretty good. It's called the feeling when no girlfriend or something like that, but it's spelled like the way you would on the internet, TFW, GF or whatever. And it's good. I mean, it definitely shows like the other side of what it might be to live their life, but they're not self-identified incels, so it's not necessarily an incel movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think what the incel means is that they expect to have sex.
Right. That's the weird thing. That they deserve it, but they can't get it. Which is a weird thing. You don't deserve it, dude. Stop playing video games. Brush your fucking teeth. Get a haircut. Learn something that's interesting to other people, and then maybe you'll get some sex. But you don't deserve it for being a goddamn loser. That's not That's not how it works.
That's the crux of it. Yeah, is the deserving part. It's the entitlement to sex and to women.
What a weird mentality to have, that you think that you deserve sex. But you need another person to cooperate with that idea. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
I mean, they're looking at the system, the patriarchy, and seeing that in our society, they are deserving of a hot woman. Like in TV, everywhere, it says, oh, the nerd gets the hot girl, and if they don't, then they are righteous in their, in the way that they're feeling, because they are told that they are gifted with this, that they are going to get this, that they deserve this. Society tells them this.
They should all become magicians. That's it. Just pull rabbits out of a hat. That's it.
Like there's that show. It's like with the boy from Roseanne, the boyfriend, Darlene's boyfriend. What is it? It's like, what's that TV show? Like,
I know what you're talking about. With the nerds.
With the nerds, yeah. Like that show is a perfect example of like incel mindset. Like all the girls there are hot. Yeah. I can't watch that show because it's super like chauvinistic.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. It's not funny.
No,
not
it's
a
not
funny
funny.
show.
No.
Yeah, what's the name of that show? It's
It's
terrible.
with Milan Bialik and everything, like Blossom. I can't remember shit.
I can't
but
either.
It's like some shitty show, but it's popular. It's like mainstream. It's been on for years. But basically that's the incel community. Like, you know, nerds that are self-righteous and think that they deserve conventionally hot women. Because it's not just any woman also, by the way. It has to be a very hot woman because God forbid, you know, a fat chick or whatever likes them. It's
ironic because the dudes are sitting on a chair all day. I don't know.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
It's so crazy too because if those dudes ever got a hot woman who was interested in having sex with them, I don't think it would work out too well anyway. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So, you know, maybe you should settle. You know? Go to the discount rack. It's okay. When I go to a store, I go straight to the discount rack. There's no shame. You know, live within your means, you know? Don't overextend yourself. You're going to hurt yourself.
Our subjects today are really dark.
Well, you know, I wanted to bring up how
there's just like talking about Me Too, racism, incels, all the dark stuff. We should talk about all the happy, joyous, and free stuff that we did when we were younger.
Yeah, there was nothing dark when we were younger, that's for sure.
There definitely was, but I think we definitely tried to have a lot of fun.
We did.
You know?
Yeah.
Around it's too bad we only remember the dark stuff, though.
It's human nature, isn't it?
I guess so.
No, I remember good parts of fun.
I remember a bunch of good stuff, too.
Yeah.
One thing we were going to bring up, Sabrina, was do you remember this warehouse in Long Island City that me, you, Joe, and Tracy?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I love it. They had a huge tennis court.
Yeah.
That was the Schwartz Chemical Factory. Yeah.
Yes. I'm so glad you remember the name because I couldn't remember the name.
What is it?
So it was a chemical. Well, first, didn't it run the Pennsylvania Railroad? This is what we read. And then it became the Schwartz Chemical Factory.
There's a Georgia O'Keeffe painting that features that building in it.
Oh.
I didn't remember that. But and then they became in the 70s Long Island City indoor tennis.
Yeah.
And that's where the tennis court came from.
Oh, okay.
So cool, that tennis playing area. Oh man, I would love to use that building for something more shoot a music video, something. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow. We loved that building. That was like the best place to go for a while there. That was so much fun.
And it was like a time capsule. It's like everybody left their things behind. Their desk was they were there yesterday from like the 70s. They had the big old discs from their computers. I have it somewhere. I took one of the discs.
Yeah. Oh, you did?
Yeah. Oh, cool. I know that's like frowned upon in urban exploring, but I didn't know at the time.
That's so funny that you're like saying how that's frowned upon, where I know Melissa's dying to tell a story that is not only frowned upon, but maybe like completely despicable in relation to you taking a fucking floppy disk that no one cares about.
Oh, that story. Yeah, Joe won't let me tell a certain story.
You can tell this story about how you went in there with a metal crowbar and destroyed everything. You can tell him that.
Oh, no. Hold on. I thought you were going to go take it to this other story that you told me I wasn't allowed to tell. But yeah. So Sabrina, I think when you took that floppy disk was because we decided we were going to destroy the building, which was something we didn't touch for a long time because we were like, this is our place. But I'm pretty sure, Joe, you found out that Trump actually bought the building, right? Wasn't it Trump or some big Am I like confusing hairs here? Because I remember when we found out somebody bought the building, I thought it was Trump,
Right.
but I'm like, maybe I'm throwing his name in here as like the enemy is like ruining all this
I
stuff.
think
But I
so, yeah.
remember it was some big money, whatever, bought the building to
Yeah.
tear it down and turned it into a condo.
Right.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it was like we saw a sign or something like that, and we're like, oh, this place is going to be gone soon.
So that's when we decided to break shit,
Yeah.
which we
Yeah.
didn't do before. And
Thank you
Sabrina,
for prefacing it with that.
Yes.
It's true though.
We're
did
not
respect
that
the
irresponsible.
space.
Indeed, we did. Yes.
We did.
Correct.
We loved it, and we didn't vandalize in any sort of way. No spray paint, no nothing.
No.
But I will say, after we found out it was being bought, I was straight up throwing cinder blocks through the skylights from the roof. I was getting reckless there after a minute. But Sabrina, do you remember? Because you and Tracy got a little scared when me and Joe started breaking all the stuff in the office.
Well, I felt like the floor was gonna collapse. I couldn't like get back in touch with you guys somehow. Like we got disconnected somehow. And I was like, I don't know how to get back down. Like it seemed like it was not a very safe building. And I think Joe, you go around a different way to come get us because we couldn't figure out how to get back. It was like a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just remember you guys being kind of scared when we started breaking stuff because Joe actually went very extreme, and I'm pretty sure picked up a copier and threw one of the dividing glass. What are those glass dividers? Cubicles?
Oh yeah.
But they were made of glass, not like plexiglass. It was like legitimate glass.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just. I remember when we left, Joe said, "Wow, I've never heard that much glass break in my life." But your face was like processing it, like when you said it to me. It was like the sounds were just blowing your mind that you heard all that. But yeah, we were kind of going for anything and everything. And I thought you picked up the crowbar. And then I was just like, can I use it as well? Because I'm pretty sure we walked in there and you were just like, psh, psh, just started the whole process of shattering whatever you could. And I definitely remember copiers being kicked over, opened up, and then breaking the glass in the side, like in the scanner area.
Oh yeah. I think we had a couple makeshift weapons that we had stashed in like certain areas just in case things got hairy.
What?
I think
weapons.
Yeah, because I mean, there was always that element of, maybe we get bum rush while we're in here. Maybe, things go south, And I think there was a couple like long metal objects that we just kind of put in, so we would have this go-to, I think that's what was used to bust the place up was one of those like stashed makeshift weapons. But I could be wrong. I don't know.
Well, luckily, you actually were always the one who was thinking ahead about this. I remember once being in a different abandoned warehouse that we discovered, the one with the vintage clothes. And you and I were standing at the window watching as people walked in. And you turned to me and you said, if we can see them coming in, anyone can see us coming in. Like, people know we're here. And I remember that was our first time being in this particular abandoned building. I'm sure Sabrina, at the time we told you about this place, that we found these 3 warehouses on the waterfront full of vintage clothes, full of it.
Yeah, I think I still have one of the scarves that I got from you guys.
Probably.
Yeah.
We returned with Tracy and our friend Johnny T, and we're just wilding like on, throwing sacks out the window and rolling them on skateboards. Turns out everyone got bed bugs from it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Melissa's not responsible for the coronavirus, but she is responsible for the 2006 New York bed bug infestation. Yeah. The number one Google search term in Brooklyn. How do you get rid of bed bugs?
Sure.
There you go. Respect.
I actually brought my clothes outside to our crappy backyard in that Greenpoint building. It was Johnny who brought an entire sack into his loft in Greenpoint and infested that entire building.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Yeah. And then somebody actually, do you remember, Joe, like one of the times we were back at the vintage warehouse that this dude comes out like fully covered in tattoos, his whole face, everything. He just came out of nowhere and started talking to us, and he like lived there.
I remember talking to someone that lived there. Yeah,
he was
covered
in tattoos. Actually, a lot of people that worked at Beacon's Closet at the time that were vintage buyers always knew him because he was always bringing clothes from there to sell to them. So Beacon's had bed bugs. So actually, they're way more responsible for the bed bugs outbreak in Brooklyn than I was. That's for certain. Because they're distributing that to everybody. So
yeah.
But it's unfortunate because when I think about the thousands of millions of dollars is possible to have made off of the amount of cool clothes and things that were there. But I mean, most of that building, a lot of it was caved in. And talk about not being able to get through the building. You always had to go back out and then like around different areas in order to because I remember Joe described it best when he's like, it was some Indiana Jones shit. Because sometimes we'd throw down a piece of plywood to get across areas. It was insane. Like literally you'd step on the floor and be like, this is caving in. This is
right. Definitely.
It was totally crumbling. Yeah.
It was. Yeah. I remember that.
Very unstable.
Oh, yeah. Sure. But so cool. And I remember Joe also bringing up like when we found the room with the chains and stuff, you're like, this is some, well, there's a few different scary rooms.
Fucking
Hellraiser one. And then there was a City of Lost Children looking one. And they both had setups of people living in there. And you said to me, you gotta had gone through Vietnam or something, going through something like living in someplace like this.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
For sure. Because just being in there for a minute was enough. With the company of you was enough for me because that place gave me the fucking creeps. For some reason it was like a very high ceiling, a small room, like no windows, I think. It was very dark and there was chains hanging from the ceiling. It was so it was out of Hellraiser. It was a scene from Hellraiser. And then little shitty cot. Somebody is sleeping in that room. So that person, for sure.
Like recently, because I remember there was like other stuff next to the bed, and you're like, someone's living here like now. And that's when we started really getting spooked out about like what was in there, who was in there, what was going on.
That's not the kind of bedroom vibes that I'm used to, you know? Like, God damn. Yeah. The worst bedroom scenario I ever had prior to that was running into someone's toenail up into a carpet, but... I mean,
I don't know if you noticed, but you bring up feet a lot ever since I've known you. But while I was watching the podcast, there's a constant mention of things that gross you out, and it always has something to do with feet.
Well, you know, half of my life was spent as a foot phobe. You know, I was a foot phobic for sure.
I know,
socks were on demand when you guys would enter my Hollywood apartment. You ain't coming up in there with your fucking twinkle toes. I got socks. I got socks for days. I got one size fits all, y'all. Nobody putting their feet up on my couch. But now I'm good with it now. I
heard
totally
you say
cured.
that on a previous podcast, and I wanted to interject while I was watching it and being like, clearly you're not, because you constantly feet still get brought up. It's like, gross. This is nasty. I remember this person having a really thick yellow toenail, or you were talking about something.
Your teacher.
The science teacher, yeah. Yeah, that was it was in bad shape. I mean, if you think about it, feet are fucking weird as fuck. You know?
Oh yeah,
it's like
I'm not a
goddamn.
Fan. I'm not a fan of that.
You know, it's weird, dude. You know, there's like little toes. They're called toes, what makes them sound cute, but they're not cute. There's something weird going on there. And what really bothers me, you know, are people who grow out their toenails, dude. No, man.
Some people get acrylics, like long acrylics on
their
toenails.
No.
Super weird.
No, I don't ever want to be touched by someone's toenail that exceeds the length of their foot. Never. I don't want that. I'm still not okay with that. Don't scratch me with your toenail. Don't ever scratch me with your toenail. Ever.
Ew.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey guys, I have to I hate to interrupt, but I have to pee really bad because I really downed both of these. It'll take 2 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
We'll do a timeout.
Timeout. Oh, I love cats now.
I know. I noticed Wendell isn't on your Instagram anymore. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened.
I don't. He just never came home one day.
He was so cute.
He was the love of my life. Like, I've never loved a cat like that before. And he was so like expressive and like would throw himself and would run to me. Like I've never seen a cat do that before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my kitty's very much like that. Her name is Doe, and I've had her now for 4.5 years. And here she is. She's teaching me like incredible unconditional love. Hi, baby. You want one of these?
They're so smart.
She doesn't like to sit on here, but this is Doe.
Hi, Doe.
Hey, Doe.
Meow, meow, meow. Meow, meow.
She's like, I can't even hear you, so.
I love her eyes.
I know, yeah. She got really sick last year, so I was super devastated about it for a minute, but she's doing a lot better now. Good. She has stage 4 kidney disease. She's on. Here, let me see if you can get her on camera to high five for this, but I don't think you can see her. Hold on. Dusky. Yeah, no, it's not gonna work. She can't even be on camera. She's right on here. Let's see if she can do it from up here. Come on, honey. No, it's not gonna. She can't see. It's not, there it goes. You kind of saw it for a minute. You kind of. It was at the corner of the screen. Here, I'll bring it back up.
Hello.
But yeah, hello. I know. Joe's always one of those people that's, allergic.
Fake bullshit allergies.
Well, some people who don't like animals often say that they are allergic when they're not. So that's why I was just joking. But I know that you actually are.
You remember Blue?
Oh. Yeah.
I was super allergic to that little bird, and I had no idea I had allergies for birds. But yeah.
Oh, Melissa, that reminds me of that song you made, Bluebird.
Oh, yeah, it was about Blue.
Yeah. I love that song. It makes me tear up.
Really? Does anyone have a recording of that? Because I don't know.
I probably do somewhere.
You know what? I have a lot of recordings though of us, Melissa, singing impromptu songs. I have a lot.
I'd love to hear all that stuff. I'm trying to get my cat on.
One of our mutual friends is also involved in many of those recordings, and he made me promise to never release any. His alias in those songs is Whitey Whitehorn, so I know you know.
Oh, I remember. About. And I still use that terminology for when someone acts ultra white. I'm like, all right, Whitey Whitehorn is the first thing that comes to my brain. And I always think about you and that situation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because we would freestyle about real dirty shit.
Yeah, I remember.
Like unspeakable dirty shit. Like really. And he's like, don't ever. I was like, I'm not gonna. But I mean, today's the day.
Is he making music now? I mean,
I don't know. I really have no idea.
I have no. I feel like I have nothing to hide. I believe in transparency about everything, so I'm not really ashamed of anything. I'm open to everything coming out at this point in my life. I mean, whatever. I guess he's a pop star, so maybe it's different. I don't know. I guess I have freedom to. My audience isn't teenagers necessarily,
So it's cool to tell everyone that you have web toes and all that?
I don't have web toes, but if you're trying to make something up. Of course, it goes to some insult about feet.
No, I know. That's my hook, girl. Feet.
Damn, my cat is just now just here with her butt in my face. Here's the tail. I wish I could get her to here. Look. Oh, look. Wait. Nah. Yeah. She can't be seen. This camera situation sucks. So wish that you guys could see the cat. Make me look a lot cooler. No, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. I need to just stop. So yeah, what's some other stuff that came to mind, you guys? Yeah,
Ladank.
We stank. Ladank. We
stank.
I'm a bit embarrassed about that song, but no,
your brother made that song.
Did he?
It was like a techno version. You remember that? Like who's tank? Who's tank? You don't remember that?
No, not at all. But I could totally see him doing that.
Yeah, he made it. He sampled us, and he made it like a techno track out of it. But the three of us, we formed a superpower called Ledank, which, when translated, means the unpleasantly moist. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was a description of us because we would sweat so much when we dance.
Yes.
I have a memory of reading that in a dictionary with Sabrina and being like, that's the name we should be, unpleasantly moist. and I didn't know it had anything to do with dancing. I just thought it was like us just being kind of gross and whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, that was our crew.
I think we were just like, just reading the dictionary. You know,
I think we were trying to come up with a gang name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that seemed to work. Dictionary pulling through. Yes.
The dictionary also named my very first website homepage. I don't know if you remember. It was called Katzenjammer, but I think we used to pronounce it Katzenjammer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because I just flipped through the dictionary, stuck my finger, and that word came up. And it's funny because it's a German word. Katzenjammer.
Yeah, foreshadowing. That's so cool.
Right? Yeah. So my first homepage was a German name.
What does that mean?
It's a hangover.
Ah.
A Katzenjammer.
Which is so funny.
Yeah, I thought, wow, that's a funny word, Katzenjammer. Or jammer at the time, I thought it was pronounced.
Katzenjammer.
Yeah. The dictionary.
So I feel like we should ask Melissa some more questions. Maybe about her musical career, about your musical adventures. You have 2 bands now?
Yeah, I do.
Sextile
which I front, which I never thought that I would do. Was always very uncomfortable to be on camera, to be the person in the front or put on the spot.
Yeah.
Never thought that I could. And still, like, the teenager in me when I started this was like, man, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I remember that first show coming up and feeling like I wanted to vomit. And I'm like, oh God, this again. I'm like, I'm too old. You can't care anymore. Because it is something I've always wanted to do. And I've just told myself that I shouldn't or couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's like a really liberating feeling to just get over that and get past that. So this project's actually kind of a big deal for me because of that. I think it's me putting myself in a position I've never been in, and pushing myself further and learning so much more because of that. So yeah, and I have a new single coming out June 23rd.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and this project, the next song that's coming out, is definitely a lot softer than my last band. It's a sweet song that's written for my friend Eddie, who passed away. So it's not it's not like aggressive, or it's synth poppy, but it's definitely melodic and sweet. Where I believe Sextile was more like punk and like loud, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm sorry for that, by the way.
Oh yeah. I mean, you know, we all lose people that we love, and it's really unfortunate. But I truly, truly feel so blessed and grateful that I knew Eddie, and I don't believe that I would be anywhere in my life that I am right now had I not met him. And I'll be forever grateful for that, because he was such a special light in my life, and I met him at a time that I desperately needed somebody like that. So.
Yeah.
I really, truly don't think that I would have gotten this far had I not met him. So,
yeah.
And when I went to his funeral, actually, his friends in Ohio told me that they were all telling me, thank you for helping Eddie live out his dreams, because he always wanted to be in a band and travel the world. And until he met me, he hadn't done that stuff. And I told them, you know, he helped me live out mine. Like, it's funny how that worked in that way, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys made magic together. I was lucky enough to see Sextile twice here in Germany, and I was blown away both times. Absolutely blown away. Like, honestly, it's no hype. They were the hottest shit out of LA, out of the United States. I was like, oh my God, there's no way that this cannot become super ubiquitous and everywhere. You know, like it was just the sound, it was the aesthetic, it was just so spot on. So if anybody's curious about Sextile's sound, I would recommend digging up the video for Disco on YouTube.
I
directed
that video.
Yeah, and I love it. I love it.
I ripped that concept off of a German band called Palais Schmeiberg. I don't even know how to pronounce it, but they have a music video. The singer of that band's name is easier to pronounce than the band name. His name was Holger Hiller, and he actually took part in a lot of German new wave music in that sense. But yeah, I ripped off a music video of theirs that was black and white, very similar to that. And I was a little worried when we were making it. I was like, oh, this better not look like a Gap commercial. You know, like, and we had no monitor. So while I was on camera, I couldn't see what it even looked like. And, you know, I can't hire people. So, you know, everyone's doing me a favor by being a part of it. So it was a bit like, and it was also like in LA that day, like 105 degrees out. So,
oh, fuck.
It was harsh. I mean, it was hard to make a dancing video with people in that kind of heat because nobody wanted to keep dancing. I was straight up limping the next day from how hard I had to dance, and with like these, you know, boots on, like
those military boots. I know those are hard leather and like hard boots.
Well, they had like a pretty thick heel. Yeah, and they're not military shoes. They're 90s, like, you know, fashion-y shoes.
Oh shit.
So even worse. Yeah. Some used shit that's like no comfort. I don't even think I had insoles, just reckless. Now that I got a pair of Nikes, I'm like, what have I been suffering through for so long? But I'll tell you what, when shit goes back to normal, there's no way I'm going to a show in Nikes. I can't imagine. Like, it's terrible, but like I was thinking about this. I might bring Nikes on the road on the next tour that I have, and then when I get on stage, put on the reckless shoes. You know, like, even though that's really when you have to get acrobatic though about it. But
it's like Mr. Rogers in the Upside Down.
Yeah, I mean, I still like, even when I get home, I gotta Mr. Rogers the situation real quick to whomever's here. You know, just because. It's weird because even the quarantine, I don't know if you guys have felt like this, but I'm not wearing shoes that much. I'm just kind of slippering around the house always, just because we're stuck here. And now that I've been venturing out more and things are more open, I can't even bring myself to wear something not a Nike or a slipper. And I'm always like, my vanity's like, oh man, what if I run into somebody? I can't be seen out with a pair of Nikes, you know. But
that's so funny. It's so funny how people change. I mean, I too have started wearing sneakers. I never thought I would be wearing sneakers, but it's too damn comfortable. I'm 43. You know?
You're not 33.
I'm 43. I look like I'm 33. I'm 43.
Okay. I thought you said, 33.
But you know, Melissa, when you were saying how hot it was in LA when you were shooting that video and everyone's dancing and all that, that totally reminded me of how they shot that terrible feature film in our apartment in Brooklyn, and there was the dance scene.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
I'll never forget whoever the costume woman was hating on me for changing my outfit. When I did, it was like, my house, my clothes are there, and I don't know what I want to wear. It's deal.
So funny.
She was like an immediate hater, and like in our house hating on me for changing my clothes. And we were like lending our space for free to a millionaire.
Yeah, and they shot the sex scene on my bed.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
In retrospect,
and they didn't bring a blanket. It was my fucking blanket.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
They were just like fully took advantage of us. And that was our fault because we should have milked them for more.
I know they paid every other location. Yeah. And then
of course they did.
The chaos after it was all said and done, the dirt on the stairs, you remember the landlord wanted to kill me. He wanted to fucking, he told me, he's like, I wanted to burn the fucking building down.
Yeah.
With you in it. He wanted to kill us. Yeah. I had to clean the stairs. I remember my like gigantic asshole of a boss at that movie company. He wanted me to come to work. I'm like, dude, the whole house is destroyed. I have to clean it. I can't leave it like that. Your whole crew and 1,000 people going up and down the stairs from in and out the backyard with all the mud on the carpet. I had to spend a whole day cleaning it, and I wasn't compensated for that.
No, adult Melissa now would be like, oh wait, so and so has what Petco money? Where's our compensation for this? And we'd be hiring a maid. There would be no way that any of this would go down without especially when you know there's funding. That's what makes it really insulting. It's one thing to make art for your friends and for your people in a project you believe in, but another thing to be like, I'm going to destroy your shit and I have the money to pay you.
And it's the worst movie ever. It's the worst fucking movie ever. It's so bad. The whole premise. Oh my God. I told them when it was all in the can and they had to edit, I was like, I told the boss of the big boss that you're alluding to, I said, look, it's hopeless. The best thing you can do right now is take the video footage, get some hungry kid out of an art school, and tell them to do whatever they want with it. And that will be your finished product. Because the director has lost his fucking mind, and this is not going to go anywhere. I told him straight up, it's terrible. The movie is terrible. Chop it up. Make some experimental shit out of it, because it's terrible. And it is terrible. Terrible.
Most of the stuff that came financially from that place filtered into many things was all a waste of money.
Yeah, and you know what sucks too?
It was all so unfortunate to watch. You know?
Do you remember the bathroom, how it caved in and 1,000 cockroaches fell out of the roof?
Yeah.
And we had no leverage to get any sort of reduction on the rent because the landlord said, yeah, well, you destroyed the building for the movie. So here's a beer. And he opened a beer and he gave one to me and one to Alan. And we just had to eat that. The fact that our bathroom was unusable and that we had 1,000. Remember I taped up the door? I think there was there was a whole room full. It was 10 of us in the house and it was boom! We hear it. And the whole damn ceiling collapsed and there was just cockroaches just I closed the door and I taped it up. That's it. No bathroom.
And we had to use his bathroom.
Yeah, we showered in his house.
Can I tell you something weird, which kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier. It's not a good thing to mention. But that landlord got weird with me later on after you guys moved out. I was late on paying rent, and he tried to get me to be a stripper.
What? He never told me.
Yep, he called it go-go dancing, and I think he knew I was a drug addict at the time. I think he knew that maybe I was in a desperate situation, and he was like, "Why don't you come dance at my club?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "It's just go-go dancing," and I was like, "Go-go dancing," and he kept trying to convince me to do that, and he was getting progressively creepier and creepier.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then in the end, he sold that building to a corporation, and then they sued me for back rent that I owed. But they sued me for more than I actually owed. So I was like, fuck them. And at the time, the entire building had bed bugs again. And I was like, I'm not paying for this again because I'd already been through it 3 times. They've never properly gotten rid of it. They go into the walls and they come back out because they're not fully killing them, which could have come from the warehouse, but I don't think so. I think New York at the time was just fucked. But when it comes to that, it was a pretty bad infestation and people didn't know how to deal with it, all over New York. And
you were patient zero, girl.
I think Beacons caused it. Okay. They were definitely distributing 2 more often on a daily basis than anyone coming in our building. But
oh my God. Do you remember when we were eating a sandwich or something like that and there was a mouse next to me and I fucking freaked the fuck out? And you also remember how it stank in our apartment for weeks and then Alan's like, I think it's a dead mouse, and he found it?
Yeah. That place was so small. I can't even believe that we lived on top of each other like that.
Your room was especially crazy small and Alan's was especially crazy because it had no window. Oh, and the heater in his room was 300 degrees. You remember that? How hot it was in his bedroom?
Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't mention this because it goes further into... Am I allowed to say legal stuff that I did?
That you did, yeah, sure.
Okay, so that building, when I got sued and kicked out of there, I went back and I unscrewed that heater because it was a steam heater. So if the thing was popped off, steam would just shoot out when the heat went on. And I went in there and I undid it because once while I was living there, I was trying to turn it off and I accidentally screwed it the wrong way and all the steam came flying out. I had to wrap my hand up in a like t-shirt to put the screw back on. So that's when I learned that some steam would fill up the entire place. And I actually wish that I had known that because that would probably have killed the bed bugs had we just let that go on blast or whatever. But I was so mad at the way that I got kicked out of there and how unfair I felt it was because all the years I spent there, and that they were lying about the amount of money that I owed. I thought I was in the clear because I had been making complaints to the city for like 6 months. But when I actually arrived to the initial like conversation prior to going to court, they were like, yeah, you can't bring up bed bugs because this case is not about that. It's about non-payment of rent. And I'm basically admitting I didn't pay rent because of this. And so I got screwed because I didn't have a lawyer or anything. But yeah, I went back there on a wasted night thinking, fuck this place. And I threw hammers through the walls and I unscrewed the fucking
I did not know that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something I'm proud of, but it's pretty funny in retrospect of the situation. I have wondered where that building's at now, and there's absolutely no way that they can call that a 3-bedroom apartment.
No,
I mean,
it's illegal.
One room.
You can't. I don't think it's legal to even have a room without windows in New York. I think that's definitely illegal.
I think the whole thing.
It's a closet. It's not a bedroom.
I mean, it's each of those. I think my bedroom was a closet.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's certainly not designed to be a bedroom.
I just remember when I visited that I thought it was the coolest place ever. I was like, wow, my friends are like living it up. They all moved here to New York City from Florida and they're really making it happen. I thought you guys were the coolest.
I mean, at the time, we loved it there. I think
that
may have been like one of the best living situations for a while there. It was so much fun living with Melissa and Al. It was awesome.
Yeah,
we had a lot of fun, and the neighborhood was great too at the time. It wasn't gentrified so much. It was a Polish neighborhood.
It was great. I mean, we could walk down the street and go to the garden, get the best, yummiest food.
That's when we started saying that everything was gourmet.
Alan was the gourmet.
It's gourmet. It's from the garden.
That was the word.
I remember
gourmet coffee.
I remember that we used to just go to C-Town or Key Food or whatever was there to do our laundry and go food shopping. I remember there was this one scenario where one of those days of that weekend of us doing our usual thing, my shoelaces were untied, and Joe kept being like, "Melissa, shoelaces untied."
Yes.
I was like, yeah, it's gonna be fine. But some woman also said, "Hey, your shoelaces untied," like some Converse that I had on. And then at some point we're crossing the crosswalk. I'm talking McGinnis Boulevard, 6 rows of cars crosswalk. And I just trip and eat shit. And Joe's laughing so hard he can't help me up.
I totally forgot about that. Thank you. That is one of the reasons why people should just listen for once and all. Listen to what I have to say.
You did say a couple times that day that I was going to fall. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm just walking around my shoelaces all loose, flying around everywhere.
The best. I totally remember you eating it hard right there in the intersection at the red light. I loved it. Oh, it was so good.
In the middle of the intersection. I remember when I got up, everyone in the cars were laughing. Yep. And they were laughing because you were also laughing and you could not stop laughing.
I couldn't stop. It was awesome. It was so good. So good. I love it when people have regrets for not listening to me. I love it.
I remember going in wintertime and all you guys, maybe you Melissa, you were still with your Converse when it was snowing.
I was so reckless for so long.
Yeah. And I was like, wow. And then I realized you need to have different clothes from Florida, you can't like walk around in your flip flops like you could in Miami. You have to have a proper.
I would never.
Yeah.
I can't go to flip flops ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't think that's ever gonna happen for me, no matter what age or what's happening.
I'm a Croc person.
A lot of my friends have been buying those during the quarantine, and they're the ugliest shoes.
They're super ugly. But I owned a pair when I was doing silkscreen printing. I would go home so often with like really just like sore feet, legs because of the dock standing there printing. And then one day I was like just so disheveled and beat from an exhausting day of working, and I was in the supermarket and they had Crocs and they're on sale, and it was like Muriel's wedding when she puts them, she's like, oh, and she steals the shoes accidentally. That's how I was. I was like this like homeless guy, and I threw them down on the floor. I slipped my foot in there. I was like, oh, and I bought them, and it was a lifesaver. It was perfect for work. But I'll tell you, they're dangerous, dude. You cannot walk on water with that shit. Shoo!
Walk on water? Oh,
yeah.
oh yeah.
Like slippery floors? Forget it.
Oh yeah, no.
Big problem with those.
Yeah. I don't think they're not slip proof.
Not at all.
But they're good for like inside, outside the house. Like we have lots of like rocks and like pebbles and stones and stuff that can poke you in the toe out here in Georgia. So it's good that there's like the protective toe area.
And they're like super light. They're great if you have to be on your feet all day. I think it's perfect for people working in a hospital or whatever. They're just walking all day. It's a perfect shoe. But yeah, you're not going to go onto Bachelor Island or something and get the hottest chick wearing those fucking shoes.
No, they're like cook shoes or something. I feel like
that too. Perfect for that.
Yeah, they're like for people when you're on your feet all day.
Yeah,
kind of job. I can get some water.
They're like
Joe,
condoms.
do you have any old pictures of us to share? Yeah, I remember there's some with Alicia and us of when we went to Kinko's and you were working and made a bunch of silly hats. And I had a red hat with a brim.
Yeah, with the brim. The brim. Totally. Yep.
The brim looked fucking ridiculous.
The brim.
They're really funny, like at the time.
How
I was wearing
goofy.
it sideways too.
Yeah. How goofy is it that we would have so much fun at Kinko's?
I know.
Like multiple times, like lots of fun.
I remember that was your first job in New York, and how you moved there was transferring from Florida Kinko's to New York Kinko's.
Yeah.
And Dave Chappelle became really big doing that episode of Kinko's as his first episode, and it was true. All of it was
I
so
am the manager.
of that Kinko's. Shit on the walls, just like, how dirty can you make this bathroom? Like that Kinko's was. Like I've never seen a situation like that. And I remember you'd come home and you'd just be like, just destroyed and like traumatized from your experience of working.
Where, in New York or in Florida?
Yeah,
In New
In New
York.
York.
Yeah, New
That
York
was
was
when
it
you.
was
That's when
hard.
you got shattered, and I think you actually like got really emotional, and that's when I mentioned about you working where I worked because you were so devastated in this Kinko's job, and it wasn't really paying bills either.
And I was working the overnight graveyard shift. It was 24 hours, Kinko's, and the shift I was working often was it was hard. It was not easy. It was a different vibe, different staff. Florida was much different vibe. But in New York, it was crazy because you had a lot of homeless people coming in at night, sleeping by the machines, and I didn't care. It's fine by me, but everyone coming up, there's a homeless guy over there. I'm like, is he in your way? Can you make your copies? Is it, it was just a different vibe. It was crazy. I remember one time the cafe next to that Kinko's would often bring over all those sandwiches when they would close to hook us up, like a garbage bag full of like gourmet sandwiches. And I remember some homeless guy was like, "You got money so I can get something to eat?" I was like, "Yeah, dude, wait right here." I came back with a bag. I was like, "Look, I got chicken salad, tuna salad, I got a turkey. He's like, "I don't fucking want that. You got some money?" I was like, "The fuck, bro? It's gourmet, man." Yeah.
I mean, I get it. The truth is, being on the street, I think that often it's due to mental illness or drug addiction. So nobody's often looking for a sandwich,
No, I always tell people that every day. I'm like, dude, you're not going to starve. I don't care. You're not going to starve. There's food everywhere. It's all over the damn place. What they need is drugs. And if you don't give them money, then they have to steal money because nobody is throwing drugs in the garbage. You can't just go find drugs. Food, no problem. Drink, no problem. But drugs, yeah. And people are like, well, I won't give money for drugs. I'm like, dude, you do drugs. Tylenol, whatever the fuck you do drugs. There's no Tylenol in the garbage either.
Who cares really where the money's going to? For me, I'm like, whatever. I really don't care.
Dude, if I was
do you
homeless,
remember, Melissa,
I would be doing drugs too.
Being in Atlanta? Sorry.
That's all right.
Which time?
When we went to go see Belle and Sebastian, and then we went on a little tour around Atlanta.
I actually, when you guys were talking about that in the podcast, I have no recollection of us being in an unsafe situation.
Oh.
But my memory is just, honestly, I might have been so naive about really absorbing like any kind of fear back then that's why I don't have a memory. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I don't think everyone was dialed in. There was a big group of us, and I think there was a few of us in the front who started figuring out what was happening, but the ones in the back were just chatting, blah, 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 and not paying attention. Right. But yeah, I think I was one of the people in the front, maybe you too, and it was like, okay, we're getting led here. Yeah.
I mean, is Sabrina's screen frozen for you?
Unless she's trying to look like a chipmunk on ice. I don't know. Yeah, I guess so.
Well, Sabrina's definitely frozen. I just see.
Yeah. We'll try to make you look more natural, Sabrina.
Oh no. Well, hopefully Sabrina can restart her Skype situation. But going back to Atlanta, yeah, I have quite the memory of the treadmill because
Did you call it the dreadmill?
Tread. No, but dread, is that what you said?
That's dread. That's fucking
It really was. I can't even get on a treadmill now. But you, being the little fucking game player that you are, put up the speed while I was on it. And I was trying to keep up, and I don't know why, but I was really afraid of smashing my face. And I think that was because I've smashed my face in a car accident when I was 15. That broke my nose, and I've always felt like I could be more attractive if my nose wasn't broken, which is not true because I don't think it made much of a difference at all. I was just trying to point blame somewhere. Yeah. But that's what the first thing that came to my mind was like, my face, my face.
You're like, my face! Oh my God. Thank you for that fucking gem.
You could not get over that. I swear for many years to come, you've always said my face.
Oh yeah. No, that's never going away. That's like George and the black hole. I'm never going to let it go. Ever.
Wait, George and the black hole?
Yeah.
What's that?
It was an interaction with a police officer, and the police officer's like, "What's wrong with you, man?" And George's like, "I'm in a black hole."
Oh, was he on ecstasy?
No.
You can't say what he was on.
No, I don't know. I think he was on the street. I think it was.
All right. I don't understand why some things can't be said and some things can, but nice to see you back, Sabrina.
Yeah, welcome back.
Thanks, guys.
Joe's referencing a story, but then can't give any other information to make it interesting.
Well, thanks for narking on me.
Wait, what story?
About George being in a black hole. We went from my face to the my face situation, and how Joe put up the treadmill.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's how we got there, to me being afraid that I was going to smash my face, because he, like a good bud, was just like to put it higher. So I'm trying to catch up. And then he said it was like George with the black hole. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Meaning I'll never let it go. Meaning it's just too good for me to remind. Yeah.
But won't elaborate further what the black hole story is.
Well,
apparently,
I mean, when you're a teenager, sometimes you get into some sticky situations, and we were in one. It was with George and Ian, and the whole story's pretty funny, but I don't know about telling it. But I don't know.
Well, I suggest that you ask your buds, since this is a Rehash the Past podcast. Often, everyone is going to be brought up. You should just ask if it's cool.
Well, yeah, I think I will do that. I think that's a good idea.
I mean, I personally don't care. Anyone could throw me under the bus about anything, really. So feel free to say my name if you feel the need. I really don't mind.
Well, that's nice. Thanks.
Yeah. I was saying to Joe, Sabrina frozen again, so.
She's lucky, though. Out of the 2 times she's frozen, she didn't wind up like any of that shit,
No, often every frozen shot of me is like, every time I look like trash. Oh, there you are.
Here I am. My internet's being funky, and not in the good way.
Yeah. No, mine is. This is why I got the Ethernet cable, just because my shit's always going out. Ever since the pandemic, the internet's been worse than ever. Yeah, I was saying to Joe that since you guys are possibly going to be talking to different friends, how cool would it be to do a finale episode with everybody?
I love it.
That'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm. Totally. I'm super into that.
It would be nice to catch up with a lot of old friends.
Mm-hmm.
And friends that I feel like we haven't spoken in many years. And I feel like we just picked up like where we left off. Like it feels like a natural, like time never passed.
I think that happens when you've established like a very deep connection that's like bigger than, I don't know, I'm trying to find the right word, but I don't know. We were so deeply connected and so close that I feel like that's why it's so easy. Like when I'm talking to you, it doesn't feel like anything has changed, like us as people, even though I know so much has changed. I mean, now we're old. That's a big difference.
I'm 40.
Yeah. I mean, I'm 36 now. It's insane. I remember feeling like I was young forever. I still feel like I'm still am in some weird way, but because in my brain, I want to be 17. But, when I meet a 21-year-old now and I tell them my age, their face, I'm just like, damn, am I really that old?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
This is blowing your mind right now when I'm like, I'm 36 or like.
Mm-hmm.
That happens a lot here because it's a college town. Me and my friend have been out, and then like a young person's like, oh, how old are you ladies? And we're like, in our 30s, whatever. And they're like, just upset, and they just walk away. They're just like, no.
Like, yeah, gross.
Yeah. It's like, we're
unbelievable.
We still exist. We're okay,
I think when
people still exist.
Totally. No, it's good. I think when people see me, they're like really surprised. They're like, why do you look so old for 20? It's strange. I mean, you must be 20, right? I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm 43. They're like, oh my God, then why do you look so young for 43? It's confusing. It's like a mind fuck for people, you know?
For sure.
Yeah. I like to mind fuck people.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people our age group that are like fucked, you know, like physically, like they've been through a lot. Like they don't look.
Let's not jinx ourselves here because it only takes about 6 months to turn into a goddamn dead fish. You know what I'm saying?
It's true. I'm waiting.
True.
I'm waiting for my face to expand and to melt, so to speak.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
No, it's eventual. I'm trying not to trip on it.
You guys are good though. You guys have a good jawline.
Yeah, I was called Jaws since I was a little kid by my brother and his friends. I had a real problem with my jaw for a long time. And actually, when I went to the bathroom earlier, my insecurities said, hey, maybe you should see if your jaw is shiny and drawing attention, but I didn't do it. So I'm like,
no, it's beautiful. It's great to have a good chin. See me, I have like the little turkey neck happening. That's my fear, my turkey neck.
Turkey neck.
Yeah, because I don't have the strong jawline.
You got the giblets.
I got the giblets, yeah. But I've been working out more, so at least like my body's like banging.
What's up, Tone? Tone Loke.
Boom, boom, boom.
I used to have extremely strong arms when I was playing drums daily, but I truly haven't. And I haven't played drums at all in the last 2 years or something. I never play drums anymore. So yeah, since I stopped that, it's not looking so hot. But I think I could build muscle quickly. I started trying to run, which is why I got those Nikes. And what a nightmare. So painful. I could do maybe like one song before I'm like about to vomit and feel like this is unnatural. What is going on? How do people do this? What are they talking about? They talk about runner's high. I've not gotten it yet. I get high from dancing. I've realized that now that things have closed, I don't get to dance like the way that I was. So I've been trying to force myself to dance alone in my house, but I miss the energy of dancing with other people, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I thought about this now since Joe's claims that he can always dance longer than us and better. What would actually happen now?
I would dance longer and better. What do you mean?
Yeah, I really want it.
I don't think so. Have you seen Melissa? She goes nonstop for
real. I've like actually played like 40 shows in a row, moving my body, jumping up and down in front of people. So I really want to know. I would love for us to have a proper dance off when we get to meet again. And maybe we will follow this up at some point when the quarantine is over. We can all meet up. We could do a dance competition. I know I will be number one.
I'm so glad that you've created an opportunity for me to shine. And I'm so glad. Asking you shall receive. We shall have a dance off for certain. Okay. And we will stream it. And it will be a dream come true for me. Because then the whole world will know, without a doubt, that I have more vigor and can dance longer. So that's great. That's great. We can put that subject on ice. I like that.
Well, let's set a date because I'm pretty sure all this is going to be over by the end of this year. So I'm down, literally a year from today. We all figure out a way to meet up and be in the same part of the world at the same time, have the proper internet services, and film the situation.
I mean, we can even maybe remotely have that dance off with a mediator in between, making sure no one takes a break, keeping an eye, make sure this, the levels of stamina are equal. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's a possibility too. But I definitely want to not rush things because I will train like Rocky Part 3 and I will fucking come up like the fucking phoenix from the ashes and I will fucking basically be like when in Cocoon, that movie, when they're like this and like that bright light comes out when they're like, oops, and the bright light comes out. That's what will happen when I start moving. I'll be like, whoa, I can't see. God damn, what the fuck is that light?
All right, let's do that. I really think that we could do it remotely.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make a 45-minute playlist. You'll make about 10 minutes before you're.
Well, now people dance
away.
like this. People just dance with their hands now.
Yeah, see, there's no cheating
TikTok.
like that. Fuck that shit. No. You gotta dance with your whole body.
Yeah.
And that's why we need a mediator to say, okay, you're 50%, you better bring it back up. Okay.
Maybe it can be Sabrina. But I think Sabrina should be a part of the dance competition. So we need somebody who's not...
we don't want her to
die. We all prided ourselves on some serious dancing, you know?
I mean, yeah, I have my dancing abilities still. I bring it to the party. Yeah.
It's mind over matter. You can get that spirit going.
That's the thing, you know, because even back in the day when it was obvious that I was a much better dancer, I mean, right now there's a question because nobody's seen it happening in years, but back in the day when it was apparent, at that same time, parallel to being the best dancer, I wasn't able to make a run a lap around the fucking block. So yeah, there's something about like touching it or getting into that universal energy or whatever it is, because while I was able to dance all night back then, I couldn't run for 5 minutes even. So there's something magical if you hit that stream of dancing or whatever.
It's true.
It's a mind over matter. I don't know what it is, but yeah, you get superpowers. It's like when like your kid's getting crushed by the car and you're like, fuck it, I'll flip the car. And then you're able to do it. It's like that somehow.
Yeah, super similar. Well, we've been talking for 2 hours, so I was wondering, because I got to go somewhere in 30 minutes, if we have any fun memories of anything that anyone remembers that we haven't spoken about.
I remember hanging out in Coconut Grove, where your old job was. You worked at the Playhouse? Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it's not there any longer.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I heard. But I haven't been to Miami in well over a decade.
Really? Not at all? Wow.
Not at all.
And wow.
Kind of a bummer. Well, because my mom lives in Jacksonville now. So I had no reason to go there. I do have other family there. And I actually really want to go to Miami. And I looked into tickets for the last Christmas because I knew that possibly all you guys are going to be there. But I forgot whatever the reason was that I didn't end up doing anything about it. And I just had a Christmas here. But
remember
it's so expensive.
Remember when we scared your brother on the couch?
Oh, of course. See, anything that was documented, it's like those memories are solid. But it's funny how certain things are just like they're gone because we didn't video or photograph or whatever. But yeah, that shit was hilarious. I remember George was on the microphone. Wake up, Scaduto! And then you
and he's
had the most evilest.
It's your brother.
Yeah. Oh, but you had the most evil Joker laugh when you popped the balloon in his face. Like the Joaquin Phoenix Joker laugh is what you did that, preceded that or whatever. And yeah, it was my poor brother.
What was really
having a heart attack?
Totally. He probably had like a mini stroke or something. I don't know. It was like
whatever.
He was fucking frozen like that. It was so he scared me. That was crazy. Do you remember how he thought he was paying us back though, Sabrina? Do you remember that?
What, he thought he was paying us back? No.
Yeah. To scare you guys.
Yeah. Like to get us back, payback. He thought you were somehow involved. I don't know why, but we were both, you and I, we were sleeping on the floor in the living room in the Hollywood apartment. But I wasn't asleep yet. My eyes were closed. I was really tired. I was falling asleep. But I heard him with his little plan. I'm going to scare the fuck out of them or whatever it was, So I just kept my eyes closed. But I think you truly were asleep, maybe? And he, like, jumped on us and was like, ah! And he was very aggressive with it, though. It was, like, physically aggressive, too. And I remember I just didn't make a peep, so I wouldn't give him satisfaction. That was my angle with that, And you didn't make a peep either, and I was thinking, whoa, that's weird. But then, like, it was a delayed thing because he stopped what he was doing, whatever it was, and you, like fucking Frankenstein or Dr. Jekyll or whatever the fuck, like went from 0 to 100, and you were like, ah! It almost gave me a fucking heart attack, I remember. It was way scarier than what he tried to do. Do you remember that?
Now that you're talking about it, I kind of do.
Oh my God.
But I don't remember getting scared.
It was a murder scream, like you were being murdered. But it was after what he did. Like you let it build up in you somehow. And then you let out the murder scream like someone was murdering you, you know? It was piercing.
Dude, it's the MS. My brain's like delayed in processing information.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Totally crazy.
My brother's life has changed quite a bit. He's got a kid now and owns a house in Portland.
I follow him on Instagram. He looks like he's doing really good.
Yeah. It seems like he's
doing good husband things.
Nice.
His child is so beautiful.
Yeah.
She's like a little cherub.
Ants are really important too. Not ants, but aunts.
Aunts, yeah.
They're really important, really. I don't know. It's like number 2 in terms of whatever role model or parental things. That's my feeling on it. Uncles are cool. They can be cool, but aunts somehow it's like a second mom. So it's like something special. That was my experience growing up, and I've heard it from other people like too. That
with my nieces and nephews, like even though they're little, you know, I feel like they know that they have another parent somehow.
Yeah, somehow, right? The aunt.
Yeah.
When you're younger, you feel something special there, something you know that they love you.
There's another person. Yeah.
Yeah, that you can trust and confide in.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought the grandparent was the second parent, but I've never. My sister's kid just her name's Ariel. She just turned 18.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's pretty crazy because I know people who are like 20, and I'm like,
yeah.
I remember her. She was, I remember.
She's 18 now.
Wow.
Total insanity. Yeah. But I've never lived near my nieces, so it's kind of tough. I've never been able to. I mean, this is my fault for being unable to catch up on the phone that often. Definitely during quarantine, I've sort of faced my fears with the FaceTime situation. I never wanted to FaceTime anyone. And now it's great. Once I kind of got over that, it's been, I mean, it's funny. You get so desperate for socializing that you can get over all these fears of dealing with the phone. Because it's not like I'm hanging out with anyone really. So this is my opportunity to do so. And you're like, damn, I really need human interaction.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, for sure. I look forward to getting on the podcast and just like talking to a friend. It's nice.
Yeah. You guys only doing this once a week now?
For the moment, yeah. I think that's a good schedule for me because I have my stepson and my husband, and he has to work at home, and Henry needs supervision, and he's hungry, and I'm just helping Michael.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a miracle that we 3 are able to do this. Let me just say it because I don't know if everyone realizes it. Sabrina's in Athens, Georgia. You're in Los Angeles, California, and I'm in Dusseldorf, Germany. And we have very different times. For example, right now it's 7:36 p.m. And for you?
1:30.
It's 10:36 a.m. for us.
Yeah, so it's kind of a miracle.
It is.
It's a miracle is that I even wake up early. That's a miracle because
that is definitely
the last time that we were all best buds, I was just
forget it.
All over the place. And even me being like 10 minutes late today was because I forgot the stupid microphone stand in my car, and then when I went to set it up, it's all janky, and I grabbed the broken one. I mean, I got it working, but then the Skype was an issue, and I was just like, Jesus, now I got to be like this guy all late and shit. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing that it's even 10:30 now, because I swear to God, I never even woke up in New York till 2 or 3 p.m. most of the time.
It used to make me fucking crazy with that shit, really. Yeah, I remember. Oh my God. Like, when is this fucking person gonna fucking wake up? God damn. The only good thing about it was, though, is that the bathroom was clear every morning. You know?
Yeah, well,
With three people living in a small place, it's not so bad that the schedules for sleeping are so different.
Yeah. Well, I remember you driving me bananas when you'd run out of marijuana and you'd be literally running up the fucking walls. I actually remember a time when your foot, while sitting on the couch was right here. Because you're like, you're going to buy weed, right? You're going to buy weed.
Really?
You were straight up hitting the pipe every which way that you possibly could to grab resin.
Oh,
You had no
of course.
money for marijuana.
I'm resourceful.
And you were physically, I mean, I'm truly watching you run up the wall with your feet, with running on furniture and just unable to sit still. And I remember, like, this is me sitting down, this is your feet. And you're like, you're going to buy weed, right? You're going to buy weed, like with your foot.
That's funny. I kind of have a vague memory of that somehow.
It's a funny memory to me because I just remember being
but
like,
I must have had socks on.
Yeah, you had socks on.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, what happened to your camera? Did you go out, Joe?
Right now?
Yeah.
I'm here.
Sabrina, do you see Joe?
I do see Joe.
Well, who knows why I don't. Hopefully my camera's okay.
That's strange.
I wasn't before. I don't know what changed, but before I could only see you guys one at a time. But now I can see you both at a time. So I don't. Oh wait, now it changed. I don't know. It's like it randomly changes. Now I just see Joe alone, and I don't see Melissa.
Weird.
Okay, now you're making it up. Oh, wait a second. I don't see either of you.
Where am I?
Wow, it's such a fun game you guys thought of. Wow.
Oh.
I straight up still only see Sabrina. But...
Yeah, I only see Joe. So
wow, so only one of you is lucky. Okay, it's life. No, I see both of you, so I'm blessed.
Melissa, do you have any stories from the road that you want to share? Any interesting, fun?
I'll tell one that has to do with Joe.
Okay.
Just really something funny that Joe said when we played, because Germany is a weird place to play.
Totally.
Every time I've ever played there, I'm like, what is going on? The clubs are so shitty, so dirty. The vibes are kind of harsh. There was a show in Hamburg that Joe came to see us play, and Joe described it as being like Jabba the Hutt's bar scene. and then he was waiting for like the hand to come flying because it truly was like just total like steampunks and like weirdos like meth vibes, but German, you know?
Whoa, that's intense.
It was intense. Meth vibes. It was really intense. It was like, okay, these people obviously don't belong here for the show, but then it turns out they are there for that show. So it was like one of those things like, huh? So this is the actual audience for this band? Like, what? Like Roadrunners and fucking Thunderdome fucking contestants and shit? Like
it was some Mad Max shit. It was
for
weird.
Real.
Maybe because it's German. German people just seem more industrial, you know, like maybe it crosses over somehow.
I don't know.
I always considered Sextile to be kind of fashionable, so I do not understand when the like people with chains and just look road worn show up. I don't really. I was always like that. This was like an extreme version, though. Yeah, like the whole vibe was really strange. But I feel like when I go to Berlin, it's not like that. But Berlin seems maybe more international.
Yeah,
but Berlin's like a
totally
whole other beast, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know if you guys are familiar with Bergheim or what goes down there.
What is Bergheim, a club or?
Bergheim is a techno club that, it's 24 hours a day, and I believe it's open Thursday through Sunday, and it runs for 24 hours. And it's legal sex just kind of everywhere. There's also those like weird peephole things. People just stick their dick in. There's rooms where you're just peeing on people. It's like apparently just a total nightmare. But people go there and do drugs and listen to techno. And it's very popular. It's one of the biggest clubs like in the world in the techno scene, constantly talked about. I've never been, but everyone that's ever told me a story of going there, I'm like, I don't think that would be fun for me.
To be peed on? No, probably not.
Just like I love the idea of like dancing, but it's apparently like it's just a massive building where this is constantly all going down and with like thousands of people.
Don't wear those Crocs in that pee room, Sabrina.
I'll slip.
Yeah. Yep.
Imagine what your feet would look like wearing Crocs to Bergheim. But
the Crocs have little holes in them too.
Like
you can put your toes through one of the holes on your Crocs, and then some German dude will suck the little toe from your Croc hole. Like
My Croc hole.
See, I mean, Joe, you have a better concept on the grasp of Germany and what it's like socially and nightlife wise. Like my read on it is kind of weird because it's definitely one of the weirdest places I've ever played in Europe. I have to say, like France is the best situation I've ever had. In France is when I actually had like a male audience member take off his shirt and whip it around and throw it.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, this is so cool. Because you never think that would happen. I mean, like in terms of the sexes and how this goes usually and what's the standard. I feel like people in France are always just getting naked, cutting loose, and going nuts. And it seems more safe. I will say the shows in Germany I've played, I'm like, the vibes are kind of weird and strange. But I did meet one of my favorite post-punk bands of all time, this band called No More. They're really not known, but they're from Hamburg. And I've always listened to their records. And when we started Sextile, was influenced by them. And then ironically, they found out about Sextile and wrote me on Facebook to come to one of our Hamburg shows. And so I got to meet them and be friends with them. Cool. And the last time they were there, they gave me a gift. I think, Joe, that's another time did you see us both times in Hamburg?
I saw you once in Hamburg and once in Cologne.
Maybe it was No More came to Cologne then and gave me that gift because I feel like you were there. It was like another weird basement space. Like, I don't know, for some reason Sextile doesn't do that well in Germany except in Berlin, which I don't know. Also Berlin, it's hard apparently just for bands in general to do well there because it's so like club oriented music. So we do well only based on, I think, the fact that we have like those throbbing disco kind of songs too.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely a different vibe out here in Germany.
Did you have the story? Was that the story from that Joe was involved in?
Like, did you have something interesting to say? It's more funny for Joe to come see me play for the first time in this project and it be that show, that vibe in particular.
That was kind of funny.
So like,
to be honest,
oh geez, this is not what it's normally like. My bandmates were acting insane. They went and hung out with these people afterwards too. And we went to Dusseldorf with Joe and Rick in our Sprinter. And I probably the only part of validation where there was being like, look at the van, see we're doing all right. Like, we got a Sprinter, you can stand up in it. You know, like that. There's Bluetooth. Like that was it. Because the show was just so wacky and bunk and strange. And I desperately wanted Joe to be able to hang out with Eddie, and Eddie and Cameron went off and stayed in some weird abandoned house with these freaky steampunks that were, you know, rolled up in an RV doing meth. Then they took the train to Dusseldorf and Eddie lost his card on the train there. So the whole thing was just kind of chaotic and crazy. But the best part was going to Dusseldorf and hanging out with Joe.
That was amazing.
Baby.
You got to meet Basil. We went and picked him up from kindergarten, I think, or dropped him off. You were in his kindergarten. You were in it.
Yeah,
weren't
I was
you?
in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I woke up early with you and went with you. And Brady told me he saw the sweetest thing that morning. He saw Marika looking at us through the window, walking away, brushing her hair. And I
Aw.
love that little like image taken from Brady's brain, but now it's, sewn into mine of what that might look like.
I'm sorry. What was it though? I didn't understand that. He
Oh,
saw in the
Brady
window
watched
Marika
as Brady watched as you and I left. Marika was watching us through the window, walking away, walking to the preschool, and she was just looking out the window, brushing her hair.
Okay. Yeah.
And Brady has an image of that and described to me just like how sweet and like wholesome it was.
Do
And
you remember the
I love
bread?
that memory.
Do
What?
you remember the bread that Marika made that you guys were housing when we got back that
Oh,
night? Like it was like an all natural, very earthy bread, and the two of them were like, the bread. I think it was the moment and everything. Like, but the bread somehow became like the receiver of the energy, and it got so much praise. I was like, Mom, Marika's gonna be so happy with your reviews here.
It was off the
loved the bread.
charts. And after playing a show, normally we're really hungry. Different parts of Europe, like Belgium, will provide you a feast, and Germany provides you a dirty basement. So, so yeah, it was like definitely necessary.
That was perfect.
Yeah,
It was great. It was a great time.
I think it's so great that you were able to see, our childhood friend in a way, go to a big show and have you, just experience the whole thing together is really nice.
Yeah.
It's just so special. I feel very honored and happy to have shared good memories with both of you.
Same here.
Me too.
100%.
100%. So it's definitely one of the fondest memories of my life is my time with you guys. It was the most sincere, genuine, and kind of learned a lot at that time. Joe used to always be like, "You learned everything by watching me."
That's funny. I never said that. You used to say that. You'd be like, "I learned everything from watching you."
Definitely always say that. You learned everything from me anyway. I can't believe that you're like, I never said that. I swear I have.
Now, of course, I said that.
Of you doing that.
I must have. That sounds like me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm sure you said it a few times too. Okay.
Yeah. I did. I learned stuff from both of you guys. So, I don't deny that. I was. I'm proud of that because there's a lot of crappy people I could have found to be interesting or take things from, and I didn't. I think it's a good sign of character that I chose you two as opposed to some evil out there.
I mean, yeah, there's evil out there, There's
we've been
real
first hour about all the evil out there.
Yeah. It's true,
Let's not end it on an evil note, though. Here's your evil sandwich. Yeah.
Evil.
No, I feel blessed too. You guys are the fucking best. I'm so fucking happy that we've maintained this friendship for so long and off into the stars. Yeah, it's so cool. It's great.
I would love to get my hands on some of the tracks that we've made together and figure out a way to turn them into something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for sure.
Because I can edit things now and turn it into something else. You know what I mean? Like,
I have like 50 tracks. Like, really, there's a lot.
I mean, send me something.
I will, for sure.
Yeah, I feel like there's legitimately got to be something in those mixes of things that we've made all together. I know were like often it was just chaos.
Do you remember this song that you and I made together in the director's house? I still think that's pretty good.
No, remember? I don't remember.
You don't remember that one?
There has been so many songs. I have no.
I don't know. I played the bass or the guitar. You played the drums.
Send it to me.
Okay.
I mean, I remember that jam room and it being quite good, but
let's see. I think it might even be on here.
But I feel like there's a bunch of tracks too. We meet Sabrina back in the day, or even when Sabrina would come visit us in New York. There was a lot of random stuff that we should just make because there's always instruments all around that house. And Joe would always be, starting with some off rhythm. and then being like coming up with some bullshit like beach is closed today. Like that was I remember that song is because you put it. Oh, here's my
video.
Little animal. This is my muñeca. She's like, nah, bitch, put me down.
Here's one of the songs. But you can't hear that, can you?
No, we can't.
No.
Okay. Well, you blew it again. But maybe you can put it up somehow.
I'll share
Insert
it with you
here in the edit.
Yeah.
What are you editing on?
iMovie.
Oh, real pro. I'm trying to draw some hate. No, I also have used iMovie.
I'm sure Apple's very grateful that you've done that.
I find iMovie actually very limiting.
I think Steve Jobs' skeleton is like this. Is like, oh, way to go.
I like it.
iMovie's all right.
It's simple and to the point.
And it's free.
And
if
it's
you have
free.
An Apple computer, Mac computer. But I'll play some over the credits for the episode. Some I think we called our ensemble the Vancouvers at that
time. The Vancouvers.
Yeah, I knew you would hate it, even though you named it. I knew you would hate it.
I did not name it that. There's no way I would name it that.
No, but you named some of the tracks.
What did I name them?
Horribly embarrassing and humiliating.
Horrible.
No, I don't know. But it's definitely worthy.
I bet you have that Bluebird song, Joe. You probably have it.
I'm sure I probably do. Yeah, I have your old songs too, Sabrina, that you made.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
I made the intro to our show.
Yeah, Sabrina's responsible for the Rehash podcast music.
Oh, you made that. Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Thanks.
My cat is all up in my face right now, so I thought maybe it's an opportunity for me to show you guys her high five.
Do it.
Dusky. Hey, come on, higher. No. Hey, can you sing it?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Very good.
It's too bad that you guys can't see her. That this camera.
I saw her little paw go.
I saw the little paw.
The little white glove.
Little paw.
Sweet.
She's a regular. Look at her. She's like, put me down. Oh shit. She's gonna slice me up.
I like that about cats. They're very. I didn't know that. I would be their servant. I didn't know that was my life's calling, to serve cats.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I wouldn't say that it's a servant thing. I feel like Joe actually like mothers me in some kind of way.
Aw.
Yeah, she's because they wake up to her like spooning me like a person, and I feel like she's comforting me. I don't know. And then she's so excited that I'm awake. It's like having a little kid. And it's not just about food. She just is so excited that we're up and the sun is out and there's birds chirping outside. Oh my God, what's happening? There's an orange cat in the yard. It's just like it's the simple things in life, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
I love the cat. In fact, I'm like kind of thinking about getting her a baby cat so she can feel like she's mothering something.
It's like Russian nesting dolls, and then you'll have like a little tiny kitten like this, and they're like, "Oh, but what about my baby?" And you're like, "You're too small. There are no more babies. You're the tiny one in the middle of the Russian nest now." Yeah. So, should we wrap it up, guys?
I think so. I'm getting.
So.
Yeah, I'm like. Whoa.
I hope we talked about some fun stuff today.
I think we should do it again sometime. It doesn't have to be the only time.
We need we should premiere or help promote your new song and video that's coming out, right? It's coming out when? June 23rd?
But I currently have one out that just came out a week ago. S.Product is the name of this project and is called Waste Your Time. Out on Terrible Records. Home to such large indie bands as Blood Orange and The Voids, Grizzly Bear, and some other indie rock stuff that I haven't listened to, but successful on its own right. And I usually believe that success has something to do with for a reason. But yeah, you can watch that on YouTube right now. And stars my friend Reggie Watts. He's great in it.
Yeah,
He's
well,
hilarious.
Joe,
He's
we'll
hilarious.
be
You
sure
should
to
see
put
his
the link.
special on Netflix. Yeah, the link will be below for this video and for other things of interest that might be related to this particular podcast and our special guest, Melissa Scaduto. Thank you so much for joining us. It has been an absolute delight.
Yeah. We're also trying to get to 2,000 subscribers on Joe's channel.
Excellent.
So if you like what you're hearing and what you're seeing, be sure to subscribe and like and leave a comment, interact with us, ask us questions, give us suggestions, stuff like that.
I have a suggestion. Yeah. I suggest that Joe takes a minute clip of each podcast and y'all put it on Instagram. I would do the same. And it helps people get to it and know that it's even happening. Because if I wasn't already subscribed to Joe's channel, I would have not known that y'all were even doing this. Because I was not made aware.
We have like zero advertisement.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah.
None. No reaching out to anyone other than my mom and a couple of friends here and there.
Yeah. Totally. But I think it's a good idea because now our cool factor has like gone through the roof with our special guests. So now it's time to milk the fuck out of this episode and and fucking throw some clips out there.
Well, when we were in Miami, I don't know if you guys remember, but the vibe that we brought attracted quite a lot of people. There was a period when I left to New York prior to Joe coming there, and I came back down to visit, and I was actually kind of jealous because I was really young, and I was like, what the fuck? There's so many people a part of the group now. And I think you guys have a natural ability to attract people and bring them to it. It's just, people need to see it for themselves, and then they're like, oh, I want to be a part of this, or this makes me feel a certain way.
That's so sweet.
It is sweet.
It's true.
I mean, I think we genuinely love each other, and we genuinely love the people that we come in contact with, and maybe they just pick up on that. We're not looking for anything. We just want to have fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Joe's apartment then was the epicenter of like all the cool hangouts. Like it's amazing how many people drove from Miami to basically Fort Lauderdale just to get stoned, eat cookies, and kick around milk jugs as a game.
Jugger! Yeah, fucking Jugger, man.
You guys talked about that yet on the podcast? You haven't?
No. Jugger.
Should we just say real quick what that game is?
Of course, you have to now, yeah.
Let's see if I can demonstrate. I have a jug.
Yeah.
Nearby.
You need somebody else though, that's for sure.
Oh.
You might kick it into something and it's not going to return.
Bert, you need a jug.
That would work. Yeah. I think at the time where you just keep it in the air. You keep it in the air. You got 12 people in the kitchen and you keep that jugger in the air, and that's how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's lots of this.
Yeah. Lots of this and lots of it flying into people's faces.
Oh yeah.
Hitting other random things.
Breaking glasses.
Lots of laughter.
Yeah.
Lots of laughter.
Totally. I think I can find a video clip of that somewhere. I'll maybe throw that in here because that is exuberant joy, Jugger. Yeah.
It was a fantastic game.
Yeah.
I have not played it in my house, but
I don't recommend you just to play Jugger in your house because it looks like you have nice stuff.
Yeah, exactly. No.
Yeah, I'm at this point in my life now where I'm like trying to, keep the things I have, be more adulty about it.
Yeah, for sure. That's only for reckless times.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, or outside. We could do it in the yard.
But you need the walls for the jugger to bounce off of.
It
has to. It's a reckless game by nature.
And the space has to be small and enclosed, so you're like,
and there's got to be a bunch of people running into each other and injuring themselves.
Right. Yeah. And you have to have the risk of things breaking for sure.
Oh yeah.
Did
someone get hurt?
I did.
Glass?
I got fucking sliced open. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm surprised you remember that. Yeah. Because I had all those empty wine bottles, and one of them got smashed, and I went to pick it up or something, like naively, and totally gashed my hand open.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I remember your shower too. You had the Lee Harvey Oswald picture with him playing, I think it's keyboard or something.
Yeah. And I had that record player in there, remember? With like really nice albums.
Oh.
You don't remember?
I don't remember the record player, but your bathroom was yellow, right?
It was yellow and orange, and there was a record player in there, and pretty much almost always there would be a record spinning, and it was like French jazz or something like that. And it was just a very pleasant atmosphere in the bathroom. It had 2 sinks. It was big. And it was a good place to...
It had 2 sinks.
I think it had 2 sinks, didn't it? Now I'm thinking... Wait, did it?
Sinks, but...
I don't know. Maybe I have that mixed with something else. But it was a big bathroom for everyone to get ready in. It was big enough.
Yeah.
That was the best part of going out, was when we'd get ready together in the mirror, dancing to music, feeling ourselves. That was one of the best parts. And then we'd go out and just be dancing with ourselves anyway.
And then we're like, let's just go back to the apartment. We could do this in the comfort of the apartment. What the fuck are we here for? Yeah.
Well, you had that great actual mixer setup, so it was so fun.
Yeah.
You more often than not were the DJ for those times at the apartment. Yeah. I have a very clear memory of you standing there. Often.
I still am that asshole at every party being like, can I put on, can I change the vibe here? Just because I feel like I can like kind of read a room with that. It is something I've been doing for like 20 years now or some crazy shit. So I just feel like, I don't know. But I remember you, Joe, being a really fantastic DJ at that and putting on like, I don't know, old school hip hop jams nobody had heard in forever. Or 2 Live Crew would come on and everyone would be like,
Yeah, we would sometimes like get so into it. It was better than being at a club. I remember we would dance really hard in that apartment because I don't think anyone was living underneath me. And it was like an abandoned hotel in front of my building, the courthouse. And it was like you can be as loud and as crazy as you wanted to. And we did push it as far as we could.
I remember one of the guests, one of the people that were in the circle, jumped from the 2nd story into the bush by your house.
Yes. Who was that? Jacob, I think I knew.
It was Jacob, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, but I remember everybody being like, yeah, go.
Yeah.
Go.
Now I'd be like, what are you doing?
I know.
Get down from there. I know.
Totally.
It was he could have died. He could have broken his neck.
For sure. Totally. Yeah.
Oh, I know. We were so reckless. I have to go because I have to be somewhere in 15 minutes. That is 10 minutes away. Okay. So I figure I should roll out. But it's been wonderful to speak to you guys.
Thank you so much for
agreeing
to be on here.
Asking me to be on this. I have been every episode that you guys post, I really look forward to it. It makes me feel like I'm hanging out with y'all. I actually been like watching them before I go to bed because it puts me in a good state of mind. To have better dreams and remember what's real in the world. So yeah, I really hope that you guys keep doing it. And it would be so cool to see, some various other old heads on here and talking more shit.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone's got a great story. One thing that I did remember concerning somebody else was Alan one year. Sabrina, I don't think you were there, but it was me, Tracy, Joe, and Alan on a Halloween where Joe was Jim Henson.
Oh yeah.
Me and Tracy were trying to be Fozzie Bear or Fozzie Bear's offspring because we had these bear hats that we found.
That's right.
And Alan comes out the room with like a like a mustache. And I'm like, what are you? And he's like, your stepfather.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always thought that shit was so fucking funny. I'm like, Alan Wood, because he's all straight faced drinking a glass of red wine. It's just saying that.
Totally. Do you remember, though, on the train, when I had the whole train car at attention as I did a puppet show with Kermit as Jim Henson? Do you remember that?
Yes, absolutely.
It made me feel like so special because I was Jim fucking Henson, basically. You know? Like, I was... that was a really touching moment that the whole train... Like, you know, it's a New York train. It's packed, and they were all paying attention. It was like... I felt like I was like, you know... for Jim, you know, I don't know. It was really something special.
I feel like that's one of your specialties is getting people together like that.
Yeah.
I feel like we've often been in situations with you where you somehow get everyone and anyone to engage. I mean, do you remember that Subway game we used to play to see how many times you can wrap around the pole?
Yeah, totally.
Subway and wrap around the pole. And you've many times had other people just start participating there in the train car.
Yeah, that's right.
You have video of that as well from not that long ago. The last time you visited me in New York, I think Cassie was there too.
Yeah, you're right.
And I think Connie was with us on that one.
She was, and her dreadful ex-boyfriend. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that guy was definitely gave me a sour vibe too.
It was no good. Yeah.
Dreadful ex-boyfriend. Hopefully they're not watching this.
Well, I think it's totally okay. I think even Connie's on record as him being dreadful, so I don't think that's.
Oh yeah.
There's no shock factor there.
Yeah, Connie's married to a really nice guy.
Good. That's great.
Yeah, he. I met them. I forgot why they were here, but yeah, I met up with Connie because Connie's sister lives here in Georgia. And so, you know, they came down and I got to visit with him. And he was super nice. And we immediately started talking like deep, which I think was a good sign.
That's great.
Like, yeah, he was like spilling his guts right away to me and just like expressing, you know, how much he loved her. And it was just really nice. It was like, this is a nice guy. This is a good guy.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, healthy relationship. Let me know what that's like.
Ask Johnny Marr.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got all the answers, right? I mean,
I'm pretty sure Johnny Marr's actually been married to the same woman since he was in high school, so he would know the answer to that. Unlike Morrissey's ass, who's unable to connect with anybody because he loves himself so much. But Joe's on team narcissist. What can you do?
If you can't beat him, join him, girl. That's what you can do.
Silly. All right, guys. Well, it's been lovely.
Yeah, it's been.
Thank you for
have a good rest of your day.
You guys as well. And fight the power. Don't let the man get you down.
That's right.
Power
Keep hope alive. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Peace and love. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, I love you guys.
Love you.